Yo, what's up? We are back. This is Mr. Right Way, another edition of the Right Way podcast, and we got the band back together. We even got Fruity Pebbles, but he might get kicked off the show tonight again. So, what's up, y'all? I've been like around the world and back. I've been to Africa, been to LA. So the last 2 weeks, we have been doing an episode. So tonight we just talking about a lot of stuff. We talking about the Nintendo Direct. We talking about Sony. They being a little sour. You saw some papers and stuff. We're talking about Final Fantasy 17 or 16 Devil May Cry edition.
Wow.
Devil May Cry
you just lost 1,000 subscribers.
I know, right?
How dare you? This is an evolution.
Unsubscribe. Let's start out, man. What's up, Alex? How you doing tonight, man?
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Alexander Tyler. I'm on Twitter, also known as GamerMD, and I'm having an amazing night. I'm already lit. I had a few drinks with some after work buddies and everything else, so we are going to have an amazing night tonight. Thank you so much, Steve.
You're welcome. And we got the Fruity Pebble himself, King Fruity Night ready on camera.
Wait.
Where you still ahead from, man?
You're the Fruity Pebble.
Where you still ahead from? Huh? PlayStation is my thing. Why you trying to get on the PlayStation bandwagon? You talk all that knows about PlayStation. Here you go. Last us.
Wait a second.
PlayStation T-shirt. What are you doing? Man?
Did you even play the game?
Not yet.
I've already beaten the first one. Almost beaten the second one. So
Why you doing, man?
I'm doing well. So just for everybody's knowledge, I've gotten kicked off the show during the pre-show. So this is the way the night's gonna go. I can see it already. It's and we got to meet Steve's girlfriend. She's not Photoshop. He didn't actually pay her to be there. So
and he's got kicked off. See, told y'all already. Hey, Retro Neil, what's up, man?
What it is. I'm happy to be back, man. I'm happy to see everybody, man. How's everybody doing this Friday?
Yeah, man, we got everybody up in here tonight, man. And also, like I said, give everybody fair warning because it might happen. So just gonna give everybody fair warning.
Fair warning, what?
Oh, talking about the power, man.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah.
So what?
We've been experiencing massive internet issues in the neighborhood all day long. So I just logged off. I just told them, say, hey, yo, happy 4th. I'm gonna go ahead and log off because clearly the universe is telling me I don't need to be working today. So that's exactly what happened.
Is that that 4.5 day weekend, huh?
4.5 day weekend.
4.5 days
on that day.
Boy, hey, I got me some steaks in the refrigerator. I just got through eating one. I need to go to the store to get some terramana in the morning. But yeah, this heat. Oh my gosh, we're in Texas.
Hot.
It's hot. The South heat is hot, y'all. Texas, Arkansas, Atlanta, whoa, it is hot. Today got to 106 degrees.
Is that why your power's going out? It's not because of storms, right? It's because
no storms. No storms. It's hotter than the devil's draws out here right now.
Dude. You can handle that.
The devil draws is hot. Dang. Drop the devil draws. It's so hot. And then, hey, back again. He's a brand new homeowner, and he got look at A Omega.
Hey, look, I'm gonna say y'all see the background. Look, we out the hood, baby. We out the
hood. Congratulations. Look at I got a brand new game room.
Hey, look, we ain't hood struggling no more, baby. We good, man. We good. But hey, look, I'm glad to be back, people. It's been a long time wait. This was the process as to why it was taking so long. But hey, look, I'm ready to get back to this content creation grind. Glad to be back on a beautiful Friday night. My fellas, we about to get into it, man. I'm feeling great.
Yes, sir.
Great, bro.
Y'all, everybody give a thumbs up. But congratulations to A Omega, man. He just him and his fiance just got a brand new house. Look, he got a brand new game room. So it's not the same thing. So everybody congratulate him, man. That's a big step, man. On the home.
A Omega,
that's awesome. A big step, man. Congratulations, bro.
Man.
That's nice. I know, right? We need that little sound effect. I need to get a sound effect, boy.
Yeah, get it on the soundboard.
All right, y'all. So let's talk about it. It started off good first, Man, Nintendo came out swinging for the fences, boy. Nintendo brought the heat. Mm-hmm. I mean, talking about and I know it was like last week, but man, I couldn't wait to talk with y'all. I was like, wait a minute, hold on. When they showed Super Mario RPG, they just like, they took the gloves off and it was like, yo, what is going on? I mean, I never thought Square Enix or Squaresoft, whoever, Nintendo, whatever. I don't know who got the license. I guess Nintendo owned the license or what, but Super Mario RPG is the same thing, was just better graphics. I mean, it's like, I was like, whoa, this thing is real. I was like, when they played, I said, it's already on online service. What they doing? Then it stopped. I said, oh no, they didn't. I was like,
hold on a second though. It's like, as much as we all love Nintendo, you know what Nintendo reminds me of? You ever get to the end of the toothpaste and you're like, well, damn, I need more toothpaste. So you get the tube and you're like running it across the corner and the edge of the sink. And then you get that little bit of extra, and it's just enough to be able to brush your teeth that one last time. That's what Nintendo does with their IPs. I mean, like, literally. I'm like, you're like the tube of toothpaste, and you just squeeze that son of a gun. And listen, because here's the thing.
Switch, boy, they put water in the ketchup bottle, man. They said a little bit more in there, man.
Absolutely. No, it's like in the soap dispenser.
I know. I was about to say, you better put some water on that thing. You know?
Yeah, exactly. But the biggest Nintendo news was not even their showcase. Never mind the fact that I'm super excited about the Super Mario Brothers Wonder. I think that's going to be an amazing game as well. But the biggest thing is they are talking about how when they go for the next Nintendo console, you'll be able to transport your saves, your entire digital library, all that stuff over into the new system. And if they hit that the right way, game over for everybody else, because that was the biggest gripe all of us had with the Switch. You have these huge entire backlog catalog and you couldn't import it over. Now they're saying that that's going to be what's coming with the new Switch, and the new Switch is supposed to be equivalent to somewhere between a PS4 and an Xbox One in terms of power. I know. I'm just saying.
No. That report kind of got lost in translation. So let's not talk about that, because a lot of people are running with that, and it's not the case. That is not the case. That's been disproven already. That's why, like, when these Nintendo rumors pop up and they just take a life of their own, and people be mad when it don't happen. We don't know that for sure. What we do know is that what they showed at the showcase, what they showed at the Direct was like crazy. Like, say we saw Super Mario RPG, that was great. Then they just kept having bang after bang after bang. Then they showed like a new Princess Peach game, which if y'all have not played like Super Princess Peach, it's fun, but for this time, like, I can see some people complaining like, "Oh, it's sexist and all." It's not really, but yeah, she used her emotion. We talked about it before. It's weapons, but it was pretty good. Anybody else want to talk about the Direct? We'll talk about Super Mario Wonder, because that when they ended with that was great. But you know, Pikmin 4 was like so good. Pikmin 4, I'm like, I don't care about Pikmin. I've never been a Pikmin fan, but Pikmin fan. No, I'm not. I'm not a Pikmin fan at all.
Can we talk a little bit about, because Nintendo said during about that Peach game that is her first starring role, but she was actually in a DS game.
That's what I'm talking about.
But why did they make mention of that? They basically stated like, this is the first ever game.
I don't think they said the first ever game, did they? They just said
that's what they said.
No, they said a new starring role.
That's because that the ES game was basically Peach on the casting couch, and this is the first time she's going mainstream. So we can't look at her explicit back life. You got to go with the modern stuff, man.
Okay.
So, but yeah, that's what I just talking about. Super Princess Peach is like now that game is actually starting to go up now. I saw the game sold for like $80 the other day. I'm like, whoa! I'm glad I got a copy. It's a really underrated. Nobody played that game because it had Princess and she got to save Mario, and nobody played it. Now everybody want to get it. Good luck.
And usually how it is like, man, shit. Back then y'all didn't want me. Now I'm hot. Y'all on me. That's like a national anthem for some people, man. So I can believe it.
Look, Ness dropped out. He probably had internet issues and dropped out. He probably be back in a minute. But yeah, like we was talking about. Well, what else did the Nintendo Direct did y'all like? Steve? He don't know. He didn't watch it. All right, Megan, go ahead. No.
I'll say you want to go, Steve?
No, I'll go, Steve. I was messing with him.
I think they really came out, like you said, they came out swinging. The new Mario game looks really, really good. Like Like, I know a lot of people are like, yeah, Mario is an elephant. Like, really? But I think it's not what I was looking for for successor to Odyssey, but I do think it looks really fun. And I actually just got the Sonic Origins game too. Like that to me, like I already had it in digital, but to have that with the multiplayer, yeah, I thought Nintendo did a really good job. But what I think with it is, though, like with them bringing RPG and some of these other ones out, I think they're trying to basically say, hey, you guys don't need to collect for these old systems. We're just going to keep bringing out these games from the old ones, the remakes, because you guys are going to be dumb enough to buy them, and then you could have them all on your Switch. That's what I almost think Nintendo's really trying to do. Like, they're trying to kill off these collectors, us, from buying these old.
I don't think so. I don't think they're trying to.
I'm joking.
Conspiracy theory right there.
Yeah, exactly. But it's still interesting that they're bringing all the really good titles that we all love from the old systems, and they're bringing it to the Switch.
What you think, Mega? What you think?
Hey, look, when I first, because when I heard we was getting the direct, I'm like, if ain't no Metroid Prime 4, I don't want to see it. They look, it's like the old saying, they gave me what I needed more so than what I wanted. When I saw the Super Mario, when I saw the Super Mario RPG, I was like, oh Lord, be still my beating heart. I know y'all ain't gonna do that. I said, oh no. I said, because in the back of my mind, I'm like, let them go ahead and F around and announce like a Chrono Trigger remake. I'm like, hey, look, you know what? Go and change my pants right now, man. Look, I don't need to wear any more pants, bro. I'm telling you. I'm just gonna become a nudist at that point. Hey, look, they was
in your new house. You can do it. You got a new house. You can do that.
Yes, sir. Hey, look, the whole wall's gonna be painted in a brand new color.
Damn.
But
wow.
Damn.
But
getting wild on a Friday night.
That was hilarious.
But yeah, like they showed some really good stuff. Super Mario RPG, that was of course, the shining moment for the entire show. I was also surprised that they were doing a remake for Star Ocean, the second game, the second story. Because when it first came out, that was on PS1, and I was flabbergasted that they were using the same engine that they used with what was that game? There was one that came out this Octopath Traveler. It has like the same like HD 2D art style, so they're redoing it in that style, and that just looks absolutely amazing. So that's definitely a cop for me. Super Mario Wonder. I think Steve had said it in one of our group chats. It was like, yeah, so like somebody called like Super Mario Brothers High, because a lot of stuff there was showing like, yeah, I think Mario probably had too many. It's like, yeah, like Mario had too many shrooms, man, because it like started to affect him, bro. He turned to elephants and everything. Is like in that dream-like state. Well, it was crazy though. And
that was.
Mm-hmm.
What about the Metal Gear Solid collection?
Though?
I don't know. The collection.
Well, let's we'll talk about the other game, but let's talk about Mario Wonder, because everybody want to talk about that. That game surprised the hell out of me, because like the art style of it, it was like, okay, it was like I like new Super Mario Bros. Okay, but it's kind of like old and outdated. They've been using that forever, and then these updated character models, and then the stuff they did is like, it's like not Mario, but it is. It's like it took a lot of stuff from like the 3D stuff, but made it 2D-ish, and the art style just threw me off. I was like, wow, this art style is like not next gen, but next gen. It was just next gen for Nintendo. I was like, wow, this is HD. This is like. The Mario character looks really, really good. Like the Luigi characters, what they doing, the how they changing from the hats, and then how the enemies, they be talking and doing stuff, their personality. It's just a lot of good. I cannot wait for the game. Cannot wait for the game.
Yeah, that's gonna be a huge holiday seller. See, that's the thing, right? I think, and I'm gonna keep bringing this up. I think that Nintendo's next system is gonna be Q1, Q2 of next year, 2024. I think they're going to announce it right after Christmas. I think it'll be January. They'll do a Nintendo Direct and be like, oh, yeah, by the way, guys, we're having this system. It'll be out here.
I think it's going to be Q3. I think it's going to be the big holiday push next year.
I think it'll be Q3 also.
Yeah.
But it could be. Yeah, I think Q3. I think Q3
they're gonna squeeze it out.
Why y'all gotta break my heart?
Only because wait. Only because they've already announced a few games for Q1 and Q2 next year, tentatively, right?
Yeah,
so they're not gonna bring a new system out.
Yeah,
and
but
then
they'll
be
backwards
like
compatible. No,
we don't know that.
We don't know that.
Look, I'm gonna tell you. I will look. I'll put $100,000 on the table saying I'm right.
Alex, you said it best. You said it best earlier. They gonna squeeze that toothpaste, baby.
That's right. They're gonna squeeze the Switch for as much
They
as
are
they
gonna
possibly can.
squeeze it in
100%.
that last piece and be like, "Ooh,
Yep.
just enough to brush the teeth, and just enough."
They're gonna build.
Like, look at little Mario.
They showing time. They showing time and time again. Why do you need new hardware when we can just pump out newer games with this one?
But don't
you know
forget,
what?
guys.
I'm
We
gonna tell you
lost
straight
2
up.
years. We lost 2
Nah.
years with COVID.
We did
That-
lose 2 years. Everybody lost
we
2
did.
years.
That's
Yeah,
what I'm
lost 2
saying.
years.
Like with these consoles, if you think about it, we lost 2 years with them. I wouldn't be surprised if Sony and Xbox follow suit and they push an additional 2 years. So instead of 7-year cycles, we're gonna get like 9, maybe 10.
Well, PlayStation 4
I
was
think
already
we'll have
9
an
to
8-year
10.
cycle for sure.
Yeah,
8
let's
years
see.
for sure.
Yeah, but hey, but look at this, y'all.
Game, so yes,
Yeah,
still here.
PS4. I'm saying PS4 is about to be a 10-year cycle.
Yep.
3DS.
Yeah, but I'ma
was,
tell you
look,
guys-
3DS is a 10-year cycle. Wii was a 10-year
Yeah.
cycle.
Mhm.
So they're used to that. It just now people are more impatient.
Right.
Well, you know what the
People
other
are
problem
impatient
is,
now.
right? They want to beat the PlayStation 2 total
I
lifetime
was about to
sales.
say
of the
that. Yeah,
Switch.
Yeah.
they want to
Mhm.
beat that. They want to beat PlayStation 2.
And why not? They look. They proven time and time again because in most cases it's never the most powerful hardware. The one generation it's always the system with the best software, and they're definitely trying to knock PS2 off its throne. And honestly, I see that happening. I see that happening very soon. Honestly, like a lot sooner.
What's going to
than a lot
happen
of
next
people
year?
thinking. I can definitely see that happening. Well
Because
before the
PlayStation
next
2
Switch
right
comes out.
now. PlayStation 2 right now has 155 million. I'm looking it up. DS 154. Nintendo Switch 125.
Yeah, they want to get
You don't
another
think-
25
you
million out.
You think, yeah, they'll sell another 25 million Switches. And then look,
Oh, yeah.
listen,
yeah,
when
hey,
the new,
look,
when the
wait,
next, hold
when
on,
I
when the next
showed you
generation,
guys,
hold on, when the next generation Switch come out, right? The next generation Switch comes out, they're gonna drop all the Switch prices. Don't tell me a lot of people gonna buy those. They're gonna buy those just to resell them or whatever to keep on to them, and they're gonna release another one in December. Well, they're gonna release another one in December with Mario Kart 8. They're gonna sell a whole bunch of them. They're gonna knock the price down. Then that new system come out. Then, what would you say, Alex?
well, I was gonna say, it's like you guys saw how many Nintendo Switches I had in boxes, just
Oh,
casually moving, like
And it-
reloading
and-
stuff.
and
I was like,
insane
there's
amount,
9
bro.
Nintendo Switches there. So I'm one of those guys. You give me a collector's edition, bet I'm gonna buy 3. Why? Because that's how I collect. So if Nintendo, I mean, I
That's
float
how you
Nintendo,
whore,
bro.
y'all.
I float
That's how you
Nintendo.
hold.
I don't even worry about them. I'm like, give me another collector's edition. Bet I'm gonna buy it. So I think that Nintendo's look, they can do whatever they want. I'm still gonna buy all their stuff. It is what it is. No hate to them. It's just
That's
is
why
what
they
it
don't need to put out another console because they know you gonna buy
yeah,
them.
you know what?
Yeah.
I got a solution for that. I got a
100%.
solution for that. I got 3 words: emulation. I emulate all their games on my PC-based portables, Steam Deck, and the ROG Ally.
Look at him. He just throw that raw alley out there, y'all.
And that Rock Gala's a piece. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, that
Oh
summer
my
sale
God,
is 16, boy.
dude, y'all, it's
looking
like
kinda
so. I mean,
Mhm.
hey,
Summer sale is
segue. That ROG Ally is a hell of a system. And the cool thing is, if you really want to drop $2,000, you can also get an RTX 4090 that you connect to the ROG Ally. And when you hook that up to your TV, you got yourself a gaming PC, baby.
Negative, sir. I'm not dropping $700 on that and another.
Nope.
Oh, he's
Yeah,
out.
but see, I bought
Hey,
mine.
he said, "I'm not
hey,
dropping 700. I'm out." Peace.
I think he's streaming on
He's
it right now.
He's out.
He's streaming on
get-
it right now.
You can actually get the Steam Deck right now is on sale. It's like 30% off, something like
20%
that.
off right now.
Yeah. So if you've been on the fence, now's the time. But like the thing is, for me personally, like they had a promotion using the Best Buy credit card where you could get like, I don't know, 20% off. So I got the ROG Ally for 20% off plus had like $150 in best. Yeah, and I had like
Ooh, I got one
$150 in.
too. Hey, guys, put me on game, man. I know I'm about to do tomorrow. Shit.
Yeah, buy it
sir.
now because in 2 months you're gonna have a brand new Steam Deck, and everybody that's buying it now at 20% off, they're gonna be kicking themselves in 2 months.
I think a new Steam
Yeah.
Deck
No,
is
I don't think
coming.
it'll be. I don't think
I
it'll
think a
be.
new Steam Deck is coming. I think so.
No, a new Steam Deck is coming, but I don't think it's going to be at the end of the year. I think it's going to be a minute because it's like, if you
They will
are
announce that
trying
thing
to
right
be-
after the 4th.
no, it's like if you're trying to be console like, you got to stretch out these lifespans. You can't do new piece of hardware every 18 months.
Yeah, but the Steam
It's
Deck's
just-
different because it's based off of PC hardware.
I
so
get it.
therefore,
I get it, but it
your
still
lifespan
uses-
is like if you're lucky.
Well, but they're using an AMD
3
APU,
years.
right? So
Yeah.
And so is the ROG Ally. Both of them are. So it's kind of like there may be an incremental upgrade, but I don't think it'll be worth the expense. Like it's going to be one of those things you need to buy every other generation.
Oh, come
Sort
on!
of like
Alex.
iPhones.
You're gonna buy
Damn.
3 of them. Don't give us
Shut
that.
I'm gonna buy
Don't
every
give us
other
that.
model there is.
You gonna buy
I'm
you
gonna
buy
the
3 of
120
them.
gig model, the 500 model, the 2 terabyte model.
No,
That's
bro,
right.
you gotta listen. You know what? On my ROG Ally, dude, I went and picked up.
I got like six. I got 6 ROG Allies. I just keep sipping the
No,
box.
but listen, I just picked up a Rocket Q4 2 terabyte drive for my ROG Ally, and in addition to that, I've got a SanDisk 1 terabyte micro
This is why
SD.
he
So
don't
it's
show his
like,
face, y'all.
all that costs you the same as that ROG Ally, I bet.
oh no,
I know.
but see, that's the thing. The money I saved went back into it and made an even more robust system. See,
See, that's why he don't show his face to everybody.
Now
All
we're
this
gonna get
stuff he
games.
but also let's talk about some more games and knock it off. The Metal Gear Solid Collection kind of got announced, release date finally for everybody. Nintendo just showed it, well, not kind of, but it did. But it's gonna be good. But the only thing is, like, these games are released on the Switch, which everybody's not. Well, some people are complaining about. It's only be one game, you gotta download the rest, which we are in that age of doing all that kind of crap, So.
Yeah, that makes
And
sense.
then
Can I tell you? I
What's
have
up?
zero interest. Zero interest.
Oh, I have the games already, so I don't need.
No, no,
I had to
That's
do
what I'm
that.
saying.
I had to do that with Sonic Origins too. Like they give you a code that you have to download a lot.
Oh, really?
Are you serious? I thought
Yeah.
that was.
That's on the Switch, though.
That's on the Switch. That's on the Switch. So
Yeah, so
like,
you got to get the PS5, PS4, or
That's
Xbox.
whack. But
But,
games
but
like that
from
would
my
be perfect for
understanding, though,
Switch,
you're gonna have to do that. Like any of the original Sonic games, like you put it in, you can play them. But to get the multiplayer and all that with the extra characters, it downloads it, and then additional games. So my son and I were just kind of bummed about it because again, it's that
That's on the Switch, right?
it is with the Switch, but with Nintendo, it's that physical, right? You have the cartridge.
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
reason that they have
They
I don't
can,
know.
but they can use bigger. They can use bigger cards. I think most cards they use like 16 gigabyte cards. They don't
Yeah,
use
like
like 32 and 64. A lot of companies don't use 16, 34. They'll use like the 16 to get their first game on there, and then the rest of them get a download. Which they could. I think Breath of the Wild is a 32 gig card. I don't know. That's why, like, the bigger the card is, that's the bigger the price. But they're not going to do that. I mean, like people overseas, that's why you got full games on cards, because they decide to use like the bigger card for the Switch, the gigabyte cards and stuff.
Yeah.
What y'all think about this new WarioWare? Pass?
No,
Oh,
man,
okay.
trash.
I can't believe we got they announced that. That slipped my mind because it's like every other year they all do like some strange Wario stuff, and I completely forgot that was.
Yeah, strange Wario stuff. What about strange Detective Pikachu too?
I would say that one ain't strange because I know the movie came out like 5 years ago, so something like that.
I think it was 3 years ago, 2 years ago, during COVID. 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, it was probably it was during COVID. Yeah, but I'm not surprised.
It was good. The movie was.
Yeah, the movie's really good. Like I knew that once that was a success, they were gonna make a movie out of it. But I ain't gonna lie, like just hearing how Pikachu's voice is, that just kind of off-putting to me. Like every time I hear him talk,
Hey, I want my coffee.
yeah, it kind of remind me of that
It's
dude.
like, wait, what?
It kind of remind me of that dude for everybody. Like it's always sunny in Philadelphia. I was like, like y'all.
Dan
can just-
DeVito.
Yeah, Dane DeVito. Yeah, it kind of remind me of him.
Well,
Like,
we just got to remember it's
Yes.
not the Pikachu we grew up knowing.
Oh, yeah,
right?
of course.
That's
Yeah.
kind of the way we got to think about it.
He's like,
So
give
I
it
don't
some
know.
coffee.
it's
We're
like-
accustomed to Ash's Pikachu, so
Hey, look, I'm used to the Ryan Reynolds from the Pokemon from the Detective Pikachu movie. He actually did really good as Pikachu.
Yeah, he did good.
Yeah, he did. He did.
That
Yeah,
one
but
game,
Ryan Reynolds, let's be honest, he's good in everything.
he really is.
Good
He
point.
really is.
yeah.
Like, what has he been bad in? I mean, even his early stuff is good. Like, Van Wilder was like
Oh
amazing.
my God, Van Wilder was amazing.
Mhm.
He was
It was.
hilarious.
I was at
That's a
what that was.
classic.
I was at what that was that Green Lantern movie, but that wasn't
Oh.
partially due to it. But that wasn't partially
there's
in his
that
fault.
one.
I would say that wasn't his fault. Yeah, that was like
There was a
a
script
whack-
and the
Yep,
CGI
whack-ass script.
costume,
terrible,
and
yep.
yeah.
Mhm.
Bro,
Like,
I
I
can't
can't
even
really
have
say that.
Deadpool if it wasn't for him. Like, he went and hounded people to make Deadpool. And
And
he
he did a
killed
great
it. Like,
job.
there is
Mhm.
nobody better for Deadpool than him. Like, he's
Yeah.
absolutely perfect
Mhm.
for that role.
Yeah.
He
He's
is
like
perfect.
I would be inclined to say the Robert Downey Jr. to Iron Man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah.
And then that new Deadpool and Wolverine movie gonna be fire.
Oh, that's
yeah.
gonna be crazy.
Oh yeah.
This is gonna
With
be
Hugh
so
Jackman,
good.
I said,
Mm-hmm.
And he got him to do it.
1,000%.
Oh, let me tell you something else that surprised me at the Nintendo Direct. That freaking they showed more of it, but Sonic Superstars, they got like a new gameplay trailer, and the new gameplay trailer was really good. This is crazy to see Sonic going up the waterfall and then all this other stuff going on.
Yeah.
It's like a HD. It's like this is what we wanted at the beginning, a HD Sonic 2, Sonic 3, like this. We didn't want all this other Sonic, mess. This is what we wanted. And I think this game is going to be really good. Really, really good.
What I'm hoping for it is because they were showing multiple players at once. Well, of course, it's going to have couch co-op, but I really hope that, Sega has the foresight to actually include online multiplayer, like co-op, kind of like the Turtles and stuff like that. Because if they don't, that's going to be a waste. That's really going to be a waste. It's kind of like the same that when Ubisoft, when they made Rayman Origins and Legends, those were like great co-op 2D side-scrolling platforming games, but what like kind of killed the momentum was you could only do it on couch co-op. So they kind of shot themselves in the foot with that. So I'm hoping that with this game, you can actually play with your friends online because I don't know how many of you people know actual Sonic fans that come together and play stuff on the same couch, but ain't too many of them that's like in a close proximity of one another. So yeah. I hope they get that the online multiplayer popping because that is sure right for having something like that. And it's gonna keep the game alive a lot longer too. So hopefully that's gonna be in the cards. That's definitely day one though. Definitely day one.
But then you talked about something too. Talking about Turtles, Turtles, the new Turtles game.
Oh
they got an update coming out.
Mm-hmm.
DLC, going to add new levels and add Usagi. Usagi on it?
Usagi is just
Oh, I cannot wait for that. I don't know when
it's like when they all of a sudden dropped him in there. I was like, I knew exactly like the second they did it, and I was just like, okay, you guys are amazing. I love this.
Yeah, they did, and they got his character sprite really good. Hey, it's good, and they got new moves and balancing stuff out. So because everybody already beat the game. Now they just they need more stuff. Shredder's Revenge,
like ever since it came out, like that literally shot up and like in terms of my ranks from like those beat 'em up games. Because for the longest for me, it was always like between a toss between like Streets of Rage 2 and Turtles in Time. But after that joint, especially playing with 6-player, oh my god, the 6-player online in that game. I mean, I know this game came out last year and I still be guessing about it, but like if you can get like 5 other people to play that with you, I swear it's like one of the best party games ever, man. It's one of the best.
We need to. It's online, right? Why don't we do that? Why don't we get
stream that? Oh hell yeah!
We can stream that. Yeah.
You talking about? Oh, as soon like when the new DLC come out.
Who ain't the Xbox on?
Man,
somebody just let Alex hit together.
I accidentally hit the wrong button. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he will have his Xbox on.
He said represent.
I know, right?
hey, look, it need to be the 5 of us and Steve's not CGI fake girlfriend and all the people play it, bro.
Yeah.
Like look,
she can play some games too, hey. I told y'all she had baby mad because I let her play Street Fighter 6 with me, and then she put it on like the super
modern,
easy mode.
Not
modern. No, not modern.
You talking about the hybrid one that has like
not the modern, the other one. The other what was it's a classic modern, then it's easy. What's that casual? I think it's casual mode. Mm-hmm. The easy mode where you should just push one button, the computer help.
I thought that was
accessibility mode.
No. It's like one that's like a combination of it. But yeah, I
the disability mode.
The accessibility mode.
She thought Steve was playing.
Wow.
Shut up.
Oh,
wow.
Hey, goodbye.
Hold on a second. Why don't we stream some of that too? We could stream some TMNT. We can stream some Street Fighter 6.
But yeah, man, I hate that.
Yeah, definitely the Street Fighter 6.
Once you play that mode with the people, man, I'm telling you, dude, it no matter how good you are, the computer will figure out this one combo and will just at least would take you. It'd be a challenge. And she just said they're pushing one button, laughing like, "Hey, this is."
Yeah, the new Killer Instinct has that too. My son always does that, and it does.
Oh, does it have a Killer Instinct?
Massive combos. You just press one button, and they're like he pins you in the corner and does all this stuff. And
it's like combo breaker, combo lockouts, and all this. Yeah,
but yeah, we can do Turtles, we could do a Turtles night, just stream it, and like do like a Thursday or something, just stream Turtles or something like that. Especially when the new one come out, we definitely got to do that.
Yeah, that would be fun.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
But let's talk about. I know Megan want to talk about this one because this is going to be funny. I know Megan and I know Alex will talk so much trash. So here we go.
Hey, I'm going to let Alex take the reins on that because I know he probably looked a little more than to me. But yeah. He
well, here we go.
He got smoke for y'all.
Here we go. The FTC case. You know,
Man, Legatron, that was
He said,
what is your problem?
look, he already started. I can't even get it out.
He's
Let
like,
people know what you're talking about first.
No, go ahead.
So y'all know Sony and Microsoft been in court. All these documents been coming out, and Sony said this, and Xbox said this, and it has been a mess on both sides. But Sony's been super petty, especially with Jim Ryan. And I'm a PlayStation guy, but Jim Ryan, he be like, I don't know,
Sodium
Ryan,
diet.
Jim Ryan,
Sodium
Jim
is
Ryan.
heavy in
Boy.
that diet.
boy,
Sodium
what?
diet.
Sony diet got a lot of sodium, making you salty.
Lion Pinocchio knows having motherfucking Jim Ryan.
I'm gonna let y'all take care of this. Who want to start, Megan?
So a couple of things.
Oh,
Well, here,
couple of things.
let Alex, look, he want to start this.
No. So just a couple of things on this, right? Like ultimately, it's like regardless of what all of us think in this room and people at large, it doesn't matter, right? Because it's like we have zero control over what happens. Even the people who are the fans that are suing Microsoft to prevent the deal, blah, 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 whatever, you're wasting your money. Ultimately, it's going to die on the vine. Yeah. The big thing is that we all got to see the behind the scenes. And guess what? None of these corporations give a damn about you. They only care about your money. That's it. As soon as you stop opening your wallet, you are nothing to them. So once that realization hit people, I was kind of like, good. It's like, this is something that's really important, especially for all these console warriors. I'm Team Xbox. I'm a pony. I'm a Sony pony. I'm like, bro, it's like, you guys are idiots. You're literally stupid. And the reason why you're stupid is because what? Because these people are playing you for your money. It's like people that go to the strip club and be like, man, I really connected with that stripper. She told me about her life story. She's going to come and eat brunch with me tomorrow at Panera. I'm like, no, the heck she's not. She's using you for your money. And as soon as that wallet closes, she's out. And that's exactly what these companies are like. So console warriors need to take a deep breath and step back. For the rest of us that are gamers first and care about gaming, this whole entire thing, honestly, I don't think is going to make that much of a difference. Whether Microsoft prevails or doesn't, in the United States, especially, we're not going to notice a difference across the board. Guaranteed. You're still going to be able to play almost every title that's on Activision Blizzard on your PlayStation if the deal goes through. There's no way they're going to take Diablo away from PlayStation users. There's no way they're going to take Call of Duty away. Yes, they'll be available on Game Pass if it happens, which then changes your calculus maybe. You're sitting there and you're like, well, shit. If I can spend, $15 a month, I can have the entire Activision Blizzard library, all first-party games coming from Microsoft, day one release, and I don't have to buy anything. I can just, use Game Pass to have access to all that. For the collectors, for the collectors in us, for the collectors in us, it doesn't make sense, right? Like we want physical copies, we want collector's editions, we want special editions, all that kind of stuff. So. For us to do that, it doesn't make sense. But ultimately, it's not going to change. You're going to be able to have access to whatever you want through whichever console because Microsoft's not going to turn their nose up to money coming from PlayStation players.
They would be extremely dumb to do so.
Correct.
It's kind of like the whole thing that goes on with Minecraft. Like, imagine if they just would have took away Minecraft from PlayStation Nintendo users. It makes too much money across the board for them. So it's
100%.
like at that point they'd be cannibalizing themselves. So
Nintendo probably say, "We buying y'all."
Yep.
And you know what? And that's the craziest thing about these whole proceedings that, in the courts, they brought up Nintendo and everybody's like, oh, no, don't touch Nintendo. Wait, hold on. Big brother. Hey. We ain't got nothing against Nintendo. We ain't got nothing against him. He in his own lane. He's chilling over there. He doing his own thing over there. He's chilling. I'm like, wait a minute, what? Like, what happened to the console war? Like, what? Oh, but we're not after Nintendo. We're after Xbox because.
But you know what though?
Like, what?
What I thought about when you just said that though, it do seem like both Xbox and PlayStation play friendly with Nintendo.
They don't want the smoke.
Yeah,
they don't.
Yeah,
we just
you cannot beat their first party. You cannot
No,
beat Nintendo's first
their
Their
party.
showcase, they got the highest rating out of all the showcases.
Oh yeah.
They did.
Mhm.
I didn't give them a 10. I gave them a 9. though. I
Yeah,
did give them
I
a
said it was a
9.
9.
Did
yeah.
I
you
gave
you
them a
guys
9.
watch that documentary how Nintendo got Tetris?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Go
Yes.
watch that and you'll understand why nobody messes with Nintendo.
They
That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, they,
That's all I'm gonna say.
mhm.
Nintendo will send the assassins for you.
Hey, look,
Hey, they got people fired from GameStop. Well, shit.
Hey,
Man.
look, hey, look, you know they've been
Yeah.
around. You know they've been around since what, like the late 1800s. Hey, look, they probably got like
Yeah.
some.
They
They probably got
They
like.
started out. They
He
started
said
out
they
as
built
a
the country.
playing card company.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, they've been around for 120 plus years at this point,
Would not be
and
surprised if they
yeah.
got some affiliation with like Yakuza members. That's hey, look, that's hey,
They
look,
do.
Hey,
I bet
hey,
they
don't,
do.
Of course they
don't come after
do.
me, bro.
They got no.
They
no,
got
no,
it.
no. Y'all are thinking too small. They got affiliations of all mafias. It doesn't matter if it's the Yakuza, the Italian mob, the Crips and the Bloods. It don't matter, man. They
You got a trip with the
everybody.
blood.
you know those old Wii commercials when those two guys in the black suit show the Wii remotes like we would like to play. Hey, look, hey, they was kind of flexing on people back then. We didn't know about it because it was brilliant marketing, man. Hey, look, they was sending people out to people's homes. So hey, look, we can get access to your ass at any given moment
Yeah.
in your home.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest here. If Nintendo decided that one day they woke up and they decided to choose violence against everybody, right? Let's say they said, hey, you know what? We want to buy Activision Blizzard. We want to buy Bungie. There would be no court proceedings because Nintendo would be telling everybody in the court, like, no, sit down, be quiet before I hush you, before I silence you permanently. That's how powerful Nintendo is. People don't get it. They got Mario, y'all. They got people online crying over a new Mario game that got recycled and just made look better, but everybody crying over Mario.
Hey, it's gonna be a day. You gonna buy it? Either.
yeah. Well, I mean, between Mario
Look,
and
he's
Zelda
not-
and Metroid and everything else, they need to put some money into Kid Icarus and bring that son of a gun back. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's
I
get
want a
it.
new Castlevania. I've been waiting for a new.
Yeah, but that's a
Castlevania.
Capcom. No, that's a Konami game, right?
I understand
Yeah.
that, but it's a staple. It really was a staple in the beginning with Nintendo.
Of
It
course,
was.
because Nintendo was the grand poobah, right?
I mean,
Like
yeah,
they
but still.
yeah, I mean they still are. But no, here's the whole entire thing though. It's like, you know, Nintendo and if they all of a sudden wanted to go back, so like you go back to the GameCube days, right? The GameCube was the most powerful console out of the three when it launched, right? Like it was, I mean,
It was
the
but
most
nobody-
technologically
people are tired of
advanced, you know. But if Nintendo wants to put money into something and they want to be the cutting edge, they absolutely can.
Oh, yeah,
They just
absolutely.
choose not to. Like the way their business practice is set up, day one of whatever the new console is, they're making profit off the hardware.
Yeah.
Sega doesn't. I mean, sorry, Sony doesn't do that. Microsoft doesn't do that. They can't afford it. But Nintendo's like, nah, we know our audience. It's like we do our own thing. But and also I was going to shout out to the judge in the middle of all this. She called out a ton of BS from both sides. She was really good about being like, no, shut your hole. I don't want to hear none of that because that's bull crap. Tell me the real story. And all of a sudden, I mean, so I think that regardless of what the ruling is going to be, which in my opinion, you know, and you guys can quote me on this, I think Microsoft will prevail. They will not get the preliminary injunction against them, so they'll be able to continue on with what they're doing. That's what I think is going to happen. But regardless, even if it doesn't work out that way, I think the judge has been exceptionally fair.
Yeah, you're right on that one.
point.
Look at this comment by NJS. She said Microsoft says they care about game preservation, but the physical releases are just a license key now,
Yeah.
and Xbox is
They
way
don't care
worse
about game
offline
preservation
compared
at all.
to PlayStation and Nintendo. And that's that's a good thing because like all of us, I don't know, most of us pre-ordered Starfield. Especially, I know I wanted the collector's edition. Alice probably got 7 of them. You know,
Yeah.
so
Hey, look, I wanted that watch, baby. Hey, look, I got mine.
yeah, I wanted that watch. But then the
Hey, I'm
code
gonna rep that watch. I'm gonna be walking around. Hey, and by the way, if you go to the Bethesda store, you can get the jumper, like the little pullover sweater thing, like the windbreaker, and it looks legit. I'm literally a hair's breadth away from ordering one just to have one for the closet.
Check that out. Shit, good looking.
What is
It
it, like
looks good.
$200?
$95.
Okay,
Oh, that's not bad.
That's not
No,
bad.
it's not.
They'll sell out as soon as it gets closer. But yeah, all these big name games, y'all, we talk about now coming like with download keys, and I guess it's just us older generation who only kind of really cares. But I think as more people start to realize like, okay, well, I was on the plane and I was playing the new AEW game, which is good, but I had issues because I had to turn it on. I'll turn it on airplane mode because it wanted to keep reconnecting to the internet. It wanted to get online. It wanted to get online. I was like, what is this? Like, just let me play the freaking game. I got to download it. Let me play the game. And it just, I'm kind of just sick and tired. I always got to check in with the internet, check in. Like, just, it ain't going back, but it's nice when games come that you don't have to like recheck on the internet or download this or update that and all that kind of stuff. Just be there and let me play. That's one thing I hate about the internet generation with games now. It's don't come complete. Don't come at all. But still, just still gonna buy it. It's just a weird place right now. I guess Xbox is getting their wish when they did the Xbox One. All DRM games and stuff. It's just
But that's where the argument comes in then. So like in 10 years, like we're going around right now collecting all these retro games. If the servers go down and you have one of these games, they're worthless.
Yeah,
they really are, because you're not going to be able to download the updates to them, and you're not going to be able to play them the day one patches. I mean, Cyberpunk's prime example, right?
Oh yeah, imagine playing that without the patches.
That's what I'm saying. You can't play that, right? So like Steve says, his AEW is constantly checking the internet. I don't have the Switch version, but what are you going to do when the servers go down in 10 years?
Yeah, but can I give you an analogy? Can I give you guys an analogy? Video games have officially turned into toilet paper. Once you use them, you got to move on. You can't put it in a box and use it again. So, like, I think that collecting is going to eventually hit a dead end.
No, I think it's going to change. I think people are going to find different ways to collect. I think they're testing it out now, like the collector's editions now. Like big. Sony. I ordered a Spider-Man 2 one. It's not coming with a physical disc, but it's coming with a nice ass statue. The Starfield is coming with a really nice watch. The Horizon came with a really nice statue, but still, these big name games, people still do want that disc. I mean, it's like a slap in the face too. Like me and Nick, we both got the Horizon bundle, and then they come, you open it up and they got the 10, like, oh man, got the 10 and no game, and then like that's a slap in the face. Like you just might as well not even put that. You might as well not even put that in there. So you want me to spend an extra $50 on top of $250 that I already spent? No, I'm not doing that.
Guess what? Spider-Man's is a digital download in the collector's edition too.
Yep.
I know that's what I said. Yeah, it is. But I'm okay with that because I like Spider-Man. So I knew that going in the Horizon, they didn't say that.
No,
we just they did not.
We just found out.
But all these
same thing.
All these collector's editions are like that from here on out. That's what the GameStop guy told me. He said they're not putting physical discs in any more of the collector's editions anymore.
And that's so stupid, though.
Yeah, but you know what though? It's like I remember. So the first time I saw this was when they had the Division 2, and you could buy the collector's edition on Xbox, the Xbox storefront, and they would mail it to you, and all it had was the statue and all the collector stuff, but there's no game disc. It was just literally the collector's edition without the game disc, and that was the first time I'd seen that, and ever since then it's just increased dramatically.
You just reminded me of something, because the first time I actually saw that was with Wolfenstein: The New Order, the one that came out on PS4. Yeah, there was a collector's edition that didn't come with the game. Like you just reminded me of that. It was like $150. It said collector's edition on it, but it came with no game. So that was the first time that I could.
Yeah, because it's like the statue. Like you get the statue of the little robot dog cat thing, and
and didn't come with a game. Yep, that was the first time I remember that happening.
Alex, you said something about like they had to ship you the cartridge. It's funny you say that because I just ordered from Apple. I know this is completely separate, but I ordered the Pro App bundle that needs to be delivered to me. They're going to send me a code via email that it takes 1 to 3 days to ship me a code via email.
What? How does that make you
100%. Yeah. Steve, I'm going to send it to you through text. I don't know if you can pull it up to show it.
Okay.
But my point is, video games aren't going to be far behind. They're going to do this with the digital. It's going to take 1 to 3 days to ship you a digital code.
What?
Yeah. No.
Like, seriously?
Let me pull this up. I'm gonna pull it up. Hold on.
Do you see it? Do you see it on that thing right there? And I bought that. I bought it 2 days ago.
So they need then in that particular case, if they have a release date of said whatever release for whatever game, then they would need to release that 3 days in advance, so that way it would be on time. Which
How does a digital
is
copy?
ass backwards.
How's that delayed? Yeah, how you got?
How is it
Hey,
delayed? It should have it instantly.
I have to wait on I have to wait to receive my digital email. It takes 3 days. It's
Look at this right here.
It's going through snail mail.
Right there,
That's
look,
what's
look,
happening.
look. 1 to 3 days via email. It says it right there. Like that's how long it's gonna
So
take.
the processing is the issue. The processing of the code is the issue.
Okay, but they're also, but Alex just said that they're doing that with his video game too, where he buys it. They're like, oh, we're just gonna mail you the code. Like
They're trying to make you feel better. That's what they're trying to do.
why are you gonna
Make
do
you feel better.
He should be able to register it with whatever they give him.
Look,
And then
everybody's
also
saying that's crazy. Look,
Well,
that's
I mean,
sad.
Look,
It's like a
but
freaking
look at
code.
it.
It's a code.
We've
Why would
done
you do
this
that?
to ourselves, though. We as consumers
I
have done
can
this
say
to ourselves.
I can say
The
this-
box mortar shops are going away, and we
Yeah.
have ourselves to blame for it because
We
we
do.
like the convenience of ordering online. Of course, they were going to shift to
Yeah.
that, which sucks. I
Yeah.
am not for it. I would rather the big box stores still. I like going to physical stores.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
I like getting out of the house.
I
I would like
would
to
agree.
pick. I
Yeah,
would
but
like to
remember-
try on my stuff in the store versus having to send it back in
Yeah,
the days.
but see, look, that's
know?
just a comment on the generation that you grew up in, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, somebody who's 10 years or 15 years younger than you, they're like, nah, fam, I ain't want none of that.
What you calling
Send it to my house.
Are you calling me old, son?
Yeah, absolutely, Grandpa. I'm calling you old.
We all over here, bro.
Hey, don't forget to take your Geritol before you go to sleep
hey.
tonight.
Hey, neon lights. I ain't talking about.
He's gonna show up one of these weeks. He's
Oh.
gonna have the Knight Rider's kit.
Oh yeah.
And every time he talks, it's gonna move.
Oh, we gotta
I
play his
actually
theme
have
music
one of
then.
those. Hold on a second. Let me bring that up to the camera. I'll let you guys
Oh,
see what's
Lord.
coming because a little
Oh.
sneak preview. Hold on.
Oh,
Hold
here we go.
on.
Somebody in chat said we
Encyclopedia old.
No, damn.
Said old Webster's Dictionary.
Oh, what?
Oh,
Hey,
what?
you know
Oh, damn.
Hey, World Book Encyclopedia looking shit.
You know what though? All this stuff is coming back. You guys go to Walmart, you see all these albums and records are coming back.
Yeah.
45.
Yeah.
The new
Yeah.
generation, I see these guys walking around with like Ozfest shirts on that just came out this year and like, you know, Led Zeppelin. I'm like, half of these kids don't even know who Led Zeppelin is.
I saw a
He was
kid in.
born
I,
when he was doing music like that.
I saw a kid in Jinko jeans the other day.
That's what I'm
Get the
saying.
fuck
Like, my
out.
kids like to pair that.
Remember those? I was like,
Right,
what?
yeah.
Hey,
These kids are like, look at my vinyl. This is cool. Like it's brand new.
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah, we had that.
Lived through
like,
this. Like,
They said I was in Fortnite.
They said what? Oh
I was
god.
in Fortnite. That,
So
I saw
I'm waiting for the 8 tracks to come back.
Okay, but with that
No,
said, though, with
no.
everything coming back now physical, like you have the records, the cassette tapes, the
VHS.
dare we say, yeah, VHS and 8 tracks. Does that mean physical video games are going to make a comeback?
They already
You know what's going to
Come
happen?
here.
All of the
Mhm.
big companies are going to go pure digital. All of the indie companies, and I think we're going to see a resurgence on the PC side of things. That's
big
going to
box?
go, yeah, like basically if it's a mass-produced AAA game, you're going to get digital. But if you go to like the more boutique like developers that are like AA's and like you know up and coming studios, you'll probably be able to because I think a lot of them are going to go Kickstarter. Or maybe some other crowdsourcing things, so
Yeah.
you'll be able to get like physical games and like swag and everything else. And honestly, I think that's the direction that gaming is going to move in. So,
I can see that.
and by the way, this
I can
is
see
this
that.
look. Hold on.
What am I
That's a
looking
little. That's a little LED light bar that's going to be
okay.
coming, and it's like one of those that you can like when
It
you
goes with
talk,
the
it
voice.
moves and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to be like. Hey Michael, you've got an enemy that's coming up behind you. You need to go ahead and turbo this.
Yeah, can we have you put the power glove on and we can make you like Dr. Power Glove, like kind of like
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be
gadget,
so
like
dope.
Dr. Claw, and you
Dr.
you're stroking the cat
Dr. Claw, I'll have the cat, the whole thing. Yes.
with
He
the
gonna
power
be
glove.
like,
With
"My
the
name's
power glove.
Optimus Prime."
You know what's funny? So hold on, let me give you guys a quick segue. So the person who is the voice actor for Penny from Inspector Gadget,
Gadget.
I'm going to be interviewing her in the not too distant future.
Oh,
Nice. How old is she?
Nice.
I don't know her actual age, but she's about our age. She's in our I think
So
she's older
really?
than us.
Her
Yeah.
voice
I was
is
gonna
still
say she
good,
gotta
isn't
be
it?
older than us.
Yeah, she's older than us.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
All right, so let's talk about this right here. Let's go to Final Fantasy. Devil May. I mean,
Wow. I'm gonna do it again.
Final Fantasy.
Go ahead. Hey,
16.
Steve, shut your channel down. It's like a game over. You're done.
Hey,
You're
but
done.
you know what? Hey, Final Fantasy 16 is out. I had not played it. I've seen a lot of gameplays. It looks beautiful. It looks great. But it does look like Devil May Cry. It does look. It looks exactly like Devil May Cry. A lot of people has been comparing it to Devil May Cry. I guess because the guy who worked on Devil May Cry is
the
helping
guy
out with Final Fantasy.
The guy who worked on the combat for DMC 5, I think 4. I know he definitely did 5.
Okay.
I think he may have did 4 as well. He was in charge of the combat for Final Fantasy 16.
But you know what?
And it shows. It definitely shows.
Yeah, it's like people wasn't ready for this, but it's like it's Final Fantasy and all RPGs now moving to this action-based type of platform, you know, because it's not no time-based no more, really, you know. Even Final Fantasy Remake and Rebirth, you know, they're doing that like automatic, you know, it's go right, it's go, you know. What do y'all think about that? It's old RPG fans, you know. I'm kind of mixed because I've been patient and I do appreciate the old combat system, which on Final Fantasy VII Remake you could turn that back on, but I kind of do like the action RPG kind of type now. That's just me. And a lot of people who are, I guess ADD, but a lot of gamers now, they don't want to wait. They don't want to strategize on that stuff. They don't want to, like, you know, you got to just get it and go. So
it's like, what? I gotta read. Like,
I don't think we were prepared because I mean, normally, typically, you know, a Final Fantasy game, we have time to pop some popcorn and watch half a movie before we start playing again. And then all of a sudden we're like, we watch a cutscene, it's like back to battle. I'm like, whoa, is it morphin' time right now? I'm like, damn, I gotta transform again. I'm like, all right, Tyrannosaurus. back to action. I'm like, dang, time out, man. I wasn't ready. I didn't finish dinner yet. but it's a phenomenal game. It's beautiful. It's well put together. I think it's fresh. It's a fresh Final Fantasy. I think we've gotten accustomed to years and years of the same model, and they've made some tweaks here and there. But I like it. I think it's great.
And from what I've seen, I think I will enjoy it. It wasn't a day one purchase. I definitely will buy it maybe like later on during Black Friday when they put more stuff out. But it's like I said, it's a good buy. But
man, I can wait on that piece.
I wanted it too, but it sold out. So
I don't feel so bad. I'm not a huge Final Fantasy fan, so like I'm with you on this. Like I'm gonna wait until you can get a deal for like $30 on it.
Yeah,
I think it looks phenomenal.
Yeah,
I'm just not in the Final Fantasy series. I collect it. I have it. I'm just not a huge fan of it.
I will say this: the rumors of Final Fantasy X remake, however, I'll be all over that. I played
the 9 is in development. The 9 remake is in development. So how that's going to be?
I don't know. I'm interested to see what that's going to be like. I mean, like, so what? Originally, right? So the story, the backstory of Final Fantasy is it was meant to be the last game from Square Enix, right? Of course, we all know that story. But now it was supposed to be like 21 games total to tell whatever story within Final Fantasy. We've got well over that now. With the side, the sequels and the side stuff and all that. So, I mean, they could literally squeeze this out for I don't know how many, another 20 years if they really wanted to.
Easily.
Now it's a brand, you know, because when
it's
Final
a brand,
Fantasy, when it first came out on the NES, you know, we had that and they had Dragon Warrior, and everybody Nintendo was pushing the heck out of Dragon Warrior, giving away for free with Nintendo Power, and then here's little Final Fantasy over here just sitting quiet in the corner from Japan. Nobody knew about it until like the Super Nintendo era, and then like, hold on, let me go back and play that, because when Final Fantasy 3, which was actually Final Fantasy 6, came out on Super Nintendo, like people was like, oh, this is good, because that's why when Chrono Trigger came out, that everybody started going back and playing all that stuff.
Imagine if they took the Final Fantasy 3/6 game and they redid it completely from the ground up for the PlayStation 5.
Yeah, like, because a lot of people were saying, like, especially Final Fantasy 6, well, if they would take Final Fantasy 6 and remake that like the way they did Final Fantasy 16 and 7 remake, guarantee a lot of people wouldn't be calling 7 the best one, because Final Fantasy 6, let me tell you, bro, like that is, like
6 is good.
because how 16 is like I can see how they went the whole Game of Thrones route with the whole mature rating, but
Yeah.
6 that was the original Game of Thrones. If you like got really into the story, and especially how many
That's what
characters you
sold
picked.
Super Nintendos, man. People
Yep.
were buying
Mhm.
Super Nintendos left and right for that game. I remember
Yep.
the commercials for the Super Nintendo version of that game, and people were just like, "What is this?" And like people could not comprehend that was a video game.
That opening
Like that's how
cinematic.
cutting edge it was.
That opening cinematic that was done
Oh, yeah.
what like a 16-bit cartridge or whatever, like that still blows my mind. It looks better than some intros that come out today in video
Absolutely.
games. Like that was
Well, you guys have to remember too, right? Like, there's this kind of controversy. It's like, oh, there's too many cinematics. And I'm like, y'all don't even know nothing about like how these games started, right? Like back in the day, when you bought these games, like you literally lived for those cutscenes. It's like, I'm going to go and fight.
did.
I'm going to do the hardest thing. And then all of a sudden you got treated with that cutscene because it showed you graphics and it showed you, the story in a way that the game itself wasn't technically capable of doing.
Yep.
And Square Enix was the absolute best at the
It was.
time
Yeah.
for doing that. I mean, when Final Fantasy VII dropped, and then all of a sudden you're like, you're playing the game, yeah, this is great. And then all of a sudden you see Sephiroth and an animated like cutscene, and you're just like, oh my god! Like you wanted to put your controller down, and you wanted to eat your popcorn, and you wanted to watch it because it was just so amazing.
I remember that too, because like they used to have cheat codes on a Game Shark where you just watch all the cinematics.
Exactly.
Yep.
This is watch
Exactly.
that. This is-
And in fact, all of streaming and all of these YouTube channels that show you run-throughs of games were born from that.
Yep. Hey, look, I even take it back further. Like my first like foray into like games with cutscenes. Y'all, did any of y'all ever play like the original trilogy for Ninja Gaiden on NES?
Oh my god!
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
those cinematics, I'm like, well, that's an NES. Oh no, y'all tripping.
Bro,
Nah,
even the little side-
it was, like the intro was like we had like the little side videos of it. They like their
Yeah.
faces.
Yeah.
Stuff. I'm like, ooh man, y'all doing this on like 8-bit. Oh no, y'all some guys.
Well, I mean,
Y'all some
and that's the
guys.
thing, right? Like people, this is again, people not knowing their history, right? Like they don't understand what arcades were like a genuine bona fide old school arcade. And it's like when you took Ninja Gaiden from the arcade and you put it onto a cartridge and you still had the cutscenes, it was like,
Yep.
okay.
Oh, yeah.
Like
That's special.
this is
You're
a whole
watching
other world. And I mean,
10-second
Ninja,
movie.
like
Yeah.
for people who don't know, Ninja Gaiden traditionally has always been difficult, but the NES version of Ninja Gaiden has been exceptionally difficult. Unless you were just,
exceptionally.
if you were not a good player, you were not going to beat that game. Because what happened was at the very last stage, like before you get to the final boss, they purposefully put this bird that would come down and attack you. And the power-up weapon there that they had was the yo-yo star. And what you need to be able to really beat the boss easily is the jump and slash. So you can maintain the jump and slash. And what would happen is to dodge that bird, you would have to use jump and slash to get past where the little candelabra is. And invariably, you would pick up the yo-yo star. And when you got to the final boss, you couldn't beat him. And so it was like one of the most frustrating things on the planet Earth because you had to time it perfectly or you were done.
And it sent you back. It sent you all.
Oh,
if you
yeah.
notice in the first game, that was actually a bug. If you didn't know, that was actually a bug that never got fixed in any later editions of the game. Like
Yeah, 'cause
you
it
got to
wasn't
that
online.
last, and then you, of course, you didn't get a day one patch. You didn't get
Yeah.
patch.
It
You
was
just like as
it
a
was broke.
kid, you were frustrated as hell because you're like, I made it to the final boss, but I could never beat him. I'm like, I'm not even gonna lie. To this day, I haven't beat the first one. I'm like,
I mean,
I
bro,
can make
know
it to the
so
final boss in
many
20
people.
minutes. I
Yep.
can make it in 20 minutes, like easy. I know exactly where to go, but that final boss, I'm like, I just need to spend a day and hammer back a couple of beers or a couple of shots and just knock this
Yeah,
out
but you
and get it
remember,
out.
so this is something else that all the like young kids don't even remember, right? You used to sit there with your best friend. You would sit there with your best friend, and it was single player game, but you were passing that controller back and forth
Yeah.
because it didn't matter who won as long as somebody beat the boss. You
Yes.
were golden. It's like
Yeah.
I mean, you were high fiving that stuff, talking about it at school the next day. I
Yep.
mean, it was insane.
Cause that was back in the days. It was like it's like nowadays you just go on YouTube and watch an ending for something. Back then, unless you like knew somebody or could do it yourself, you ain't seen that ending. All you did was hear all you did was hear stories of it. Oh, I heard this happening in the end of it. Oh, word. All right.
Yeah,
Like,
see, that was the whole
those
thing
type
though,
of
that
things.
you would
Mhm.
actually want to beat games for the endings. Like that, the
Yep.
ultimate cutscene was the ending, and like, I don't know, it's just the payoff in games, right? Like back in the day, like you would sit there and you would literally like blood,
You
sweat,
need
and
that
tears, calluses
Yeah.
on your thumbs.
Yes.
You got Nintendo-itis of your thumbs and stuff, trying to like
Got all
do
the
the
pages
thing.
ripped out and rolled over. and
Oh
stuff.
yeah, like there's
And
white
highlighted.
marks on your controller.
You got those
the whole thing.
You got those indents of the NES controller embedded in your hand because how sharp
Yep.
that damn thing was. Like, yeah.
Yep. But these new kids, all they do is, I'm just gonna watch a YouTube video.
He's like, oh, this is too
I'm like,
hard.
come on,
I'm like, it's too hard. I need to buy my V-Bucks.
I'm not
Give me
even
some
gonna lie.
V-Bucks.
I mean, I rely a lot on YouTube these days for my gaming experience because I'm like, I'm too old and I do not have any patience to figure
Well,
this
like,
And you only have a certain amount of time to play, right? You only
Mhm.
you're
Well,
only allocated
yeah.
maybe 2 hours a week where these kids can sit there for and grind. Like my son, he's at level 120 in Fortnite, which just started 2 weeks ago.
Whoa.
You know,
Mm.
because they sit there
they
and
don't have
grind
to-
and grind.
Yeah, but you have to remember when we were kids, we did the same thing, right? Like
Oh, yeah,
we
yeah,
grinded
yeah.
those games. Oh my god, like a summer.
We didn't have
Like I
the
used to
internet.
keep.
We didn't have save points.
No,
We didn't
Oh,
have
yeah.
save points. That's 100% right.
either. You had to be
yo, do you
good.
remember how many of you guys remember pausing the game, turning off the TV, and waking up
Yes.
the next morning and picking right back up?
Yep.
I did that a few times too.
100%.
Then,
How many of you guys
or
took
the
black
power
electrical
went out
tape?
and like, oh, I lost
Oh.
my save.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
but listen. How many of you guys would take the black electrical tape and put it over the LED light for the console so your parents wouldn't turn off the console?
Oh yeah, I done
Man,
that.
I
Oh,
used
so
to
they
do, I
wouldn't
used
see
to
the
do
light?
some stuff with
Yeah.
my TV so often that it burned an image in the CRT of
Ah,
the game.
yeah.
My mom came in one night. She's like, "You've been playing on the game, haven't you?" I'm like, "No." Like, don't lie to me. I know you've been playing Ninja Gaiden all night. I'm like, how you know?
Come
I
touch
see it
Nintendo
on the
is hot.
screen. Look, it just be hot. Nintendo be hot. TV got my room be 85 degrees. Come from the TV.
My dad come and lay his hand on top of the Nintendo, or he'll look at the AC adapter and touch the AC adapter, see if the AC adapter hot. Oh, you
Yeah.
been playing, huh? Like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, you been playing.
That
Yeah.
and that happened.
Yeah.
That happened a lot when I was playing PS2 because some games it'll make that damn fan spin up, bro. I'm telling you, it's like you got a fan on in there? No, like what you got going?
Well, let's
What you got
just be
going on?
fair. When the wife calls us for dinner, sometimes we hit the pause button and shut off the TV to go up there. To come back.
Hey, but
Come on.
hey,
Yeah, we do
good
it.
thing for quick resume now though.
That's right.
Oh man, that's so clutch.
Yes.
Unless you're on a server-based game and they just kick you off and send you back to home screen.
Mm.
Diablo
Good point.
4.
Oh,
Oh, yep.
horrible for that.
Diablo 4
Oh,
does that?
You're
Yeah, it
getting
does.
paid for
Yeah,
30
you
seconds?
idle.
Nah, we're
You
kidding
idle.
you.
If you idle, you gone. Like, hey, come back later.
And like, there's even been some occasions
Oh,
where
wow.
like people be in the world and it's like depending on like they had like an internet outage, a power outage, or they just idle. Like once they like boot some back to like the main startup, a lot of them will lose some of their gear. You've been seeing that, Alex and
Yeah.
Neo? Like they've been.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's
Hours
why
and
I'm
hours of
very,
grinding.
like so do you guys remember the game on the Super Nintendo called the Seventh Saga?
Yep. I remember.
Yep.
Okay, so Seventh Saga had a bug in the game where basically if you saved the game and you turned it off and you turned it back on, loaded your game, immediately like you could not, it corrupted your save file. The trick was that you would have to save the game and then move your character around the screen a little bit and then turn off the console and you were straight. So it's like, we learned that the hard way because we're like right at the end, somebody saved it, whatever, blah blah blah, and then it's like they didn't move their character, and I'm just kind of like, stuff like that. You know how heartbreaking it is to put that much time, energy, and effort into a game, and all of a sudden it's like your stuff is gone. And so it's like Diablo kind of, I've been like, no, I'm gonna be very meticulous. I'm gonna save my game. I'm gonna move my character around and I'm gonna shut this off. And so far, touch wood, we've been straight. But it's like, those habits came from games like Seventh Saga that had zero remorse. They didn't care because it was you and that individual cartridge. There was no online. There was no emailing somebody. There was nobody who could go into your account and restore stuff. If it got corrupted, you were done. That's it.
I was
That's
8 years old, I guess, when I found out that if you die in the original Mario Bros. On Nintendo and you've made it to, like, let's say level 7 or 6 or whatever, world 7 or whatever, and you died and you lost all your power, you could go back to the start screen, press select, whatever. I was like, yo, that was a thing? I had no idea.
Yep.
Yeah,
like,
it
oh
would
my
allow you
God.
to actually get back to the level that you were at, which none of us knew.
No, nobody knew.
They didn't tell us that.
That's
They
the
were like,
thing.
it's in the manual. I'm like, man, we threw that thing away, bro.
I would say like because back in those days, because like secrets in games, them things really did stay secrets, and it became like a breath of fresh air. And hell, even breathing new life in like a lot of those games, just finding secrets like
Do you
that.
remember when that turtle in Mario or on World 3-1 where you jump on the turtle for unlimited lives?
Oh, you can get 100
Oh, yeah.
lives.
Like, do you remember when that first came out and everybody's telling everybody about it? You didn't have
Nope.
the internet to tell you about extra lives and stuff
You
like
had
that.
to find out on the playground and
Well,
everywhere.
but you know what the funny thing was? If you got greedy with it and you went too high, it would kill
Right.
you.
It would kill
Yeah,
you.
it would.
Yeah.
The Super Mario Bros. 3 where you could skip like a
Yeah.
first
Level.
stage, but that was the Wizard. The Wizard taught me
Yeah.
that. The movie.
Oh, the
remember
movie.
that?
Yeah,
Fred
yeah.
Savage?
Yep.
When I saw that, I was like, "Yo, that's a thing!" And I'm like, "Oh, it's a thing."
Bro,
Then,
I got a
then
total,
the white block you like bend down and like one of the levels.
Yes, you hide behind.
and
Yeah.
then
After
they go get an
the
extra cap.
little
Yeah,
The music notes.
You have the music note that make you skip the levels.
Yep.
yeah.
Oh hell,
The
like yeah,
when the whistles came,
I would say like even most recently, like this was covered I think last year with Super Punch Out. Turns out there's there's a 2-player versus mode on that.
There's a
Nobody knew
2-player
about.
mode in that.
Yep.
Like 20-something odd years later, somebody figured that out. 2-player versus mode.
that's
It was in
crazy.
there
That's
the
what I
entire
mean.
time.
We all thought it was great, like when an NES game started coming out, like when Zelda was first one came out with a battery, and you're like, you mean I get to save my progress? Like I don't need a code like we needed in Punch Out to get to the
or
next version.
Castlevania. Castlevania had a code.
Castlevania had a code. There was no saves. Like I remember Little Nemo. Did you guys ever play that one?
Oh,
Yeah, Little Nemo was
Yep.
great.
Remaster.
It was a
What an
great
amazing
game.
game.
It was a great game. You just didn't want to die.
Yeah.
Dude, it was a grind. And I just think what you guys are saying too is like the kids today, they just don't know what that grind is. Like
We sound like old men yelling the
I
clouds.
know, we're like people in the chat room be like, you sound like a grumpy old man.
Well,
I did say I was
like
gonna
if
be
you
that
try to
80-year-old
get
guy.
look, the sensibilities have changed. You try to get some new wave kid to come over and be like, "Oh, that's not fair." Like I'm like, fair? These games taught us that nothing is fair, and if you even slightly mess up, that was your butt. And man,
Look at play Mega Man 2
like
with the bricks and stuff.
y'all remember the game Karnov on the NES, right?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
game was
That was one of those games that was merciless. By the time you got to that final boss, if you hit it just one step the wrong way, game over. And it was sad
the
too, right?
sequel.
Because you're
What
sitting
is
there
it
and you're like,
with
this is
Ninja
so
Turtles?
challenging. I'm going to beat this game. I finally beat the game, and it was like, congratulations, thank you for playing. And I was
know, it's
like, mother. I was throwing controllers around,
The
everything.
sequel's just
What
as
is it,
hard.
Ninja Turtles, where you have to jump up, and if you move the wrong way and you fall into the gap and it knocks you all the way down, like there's like a gap that you got to kind of tap the button to get over that gap. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
You mean the water level?
In the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles
Sewer
game,
level.
Yeah, the water level.
yeah, there's like a gap that you got to go, otherwise you.
Oh, yeah,
I
that gap.
know.
It's late. It's late in the
how
level.
many times do we all sit there like, okay, we're gonna do
Battletoads, hey,
Oh,
Battletoads,
man.
Battletoads, man.
hey, the speeder bike level.
Speeder bike,
what's-
yeah.
oh,
Notorious.
I could never learn at first. I'm like, what are you supposed to do? You just like I thought you're supposed to jump. No, you let your momentum just take you, and nobody do that. And one day I'm just gonna just roll it off in the head. I said, oh, hold on, I got it. And I was like, I was in the air, I was trying to adjust. I'm like, oh, I got it again. And then I failed, but I learned how to do it. I failed so many times, but I learned how to pass that level.
Right.
And then at the end, like at the speeder bike level, you can warp the World 5, but it's like when it goes woof, 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 woof. And then like you'll see the warp coming, you gotta jump, run right to the wall, and you're like, boom, there you go. It was like,
Let me tell you guys a story though, right? Like this is another game. There was a game called Kid Mickey Radical Kid Ninja.
Oh yeah.
And
I love Kid Mickey, but that was so good.
I beat that game finally, but that was one of those games I literally
big-ass
wanted
head.
to murder the people that made the game. Because it's like there's a stage where it's like you have to jump, it's like water, and there's like, poles that you have to jump across, literally it's like you had to hit it perfect, otherwise you'd fall into the water and die. And you have to restart the whole entire thing. And it's like literally once you got past that, you got to the boss, and it's like I jumped, I have done the game flawlessly, I missed, and it's like I hit the thing, like you can see your character hit the brick, but because it wasn't perfect, it slid you off. And I'm like, I slipped. My brother still gives me shit over that. He's like, you slipped, huh? I'm like, no, I really slipped. He's like, they programmed slipping in a game on the NES in 87, bro. Really? And I'm like, no, bro, I'm telling you, I slipped. And it's like, I finally beat that game. And he was there to witness it. So it's like, because that's the other thing too. You wanted to beat a game, somebody had to be there watching you, or you didn't beat that game.
Man.
Yep.
Yeah,
yep. No face, no case. Like I ain't see you beat that. Like I ain't see you beat that, bro. What you talking about? Like what?
Call cap all the way. Like, man, I'm blaming it on these sharp ass buttons on these controllers, man. What do you expect me to do? I'm bleeding. They're cutting my hands open with these controllers right now.
Man, these are the salt mine controllers. This is the stuff that when people were like, "Well, I used to walk uphill to and from school." It's one of those stories.
And 20 inches of snow. 30 below. Back in my day, we had to blow in our cartridges when we wanted to play. We had to bang the side of our Nintendo when we wanted to play it.
Do you guys remember when they had the NES cleaning kits?
Oh,
and it had like
so
it's like I had a little fake cartridge, and you put a little dash isopropyl alcohol, and you would slide it in the thing, and then it had like a little thing that you would control. They used to clean the cartridge edges. I still have one of those. I still used it for NES games, and I'm like, hey, it's like this stuff works. Is that you use that 90% isopropyl, and never got any corrosion or anything on any of the terminals. So it's like, I guess Nintendo was right. It was an officially licensed Nintendo product, by the way.
Yo, let's change subject really quick about something because I'm dying to talk. We talking about retro stuff. This is a perfect time to talk about it, y'all. If you did not know, this is a little preview for a video coming out Monday. But GameStop is starting to restock a lot of stores, especially here in Texas, with retro video games. And when I'm talking about, I'm gonna do a Coming to America. When I talk about they got his own games, they got them own games. Well, I tell you, the man got his own money. The man got his own money.
That boy good. That boy good.
They're actually bringing out really high quality stuff.
But yeah,
like it's high quality stuff.
But look, Vita games. When the last time you saw Vita games in there, y'all?
But are they selling them? Are they selling them for eBay prices, or are you getting them for
in store? Look,
nice.
$9.99.
Wow.
And this game is freaking complete. $9 for a PlayStation 2 game. I bought a PlayStation 2 game in 2023 at GameStop. And let me tell you about something right here. Persona was what? I think it was like $19. This This is a $50 game, but it's $17. What is
yeah, but Steve, makes you wonder where they've been hiding all this stuff, right?
So
a lot of these articles, all these eBay prices, if they all of a sudden open their vaults and pull out all these games, it's going to crash the collector's market.
I don't think so, because a lot of people a lot of people hate GameStop. Two, people who gonna buy them is all the collectors and the resellers, and going to just increase them more and stuff. But no,
yeah, but they trickle it out. They so they have a ready supply.
I've been in GameStops the last couple of weeks, and I think when I went that 1 week, Steve, when I sent y'all pictures, I was like, yo, they got retro games in here. I had no idea that was a thing yet. So they had NCAA football 14 just chilling right there.
Really?
I'm just
chilling.
chilling.
I remember you said,
I'm gonna get that. I was like, dang, y'all, okay, cool.
But you know what?
I'm going back tomorrow though. I might have a video Monday, but hey, I'm going back tomorrow because these GameStops around here in Texas. I know Texas. I saw some in Oregon. I saw some like in Arkansas. They are shipping them to different stores. You have to check, and online too. One store here had a Game Boy game. I didn't get it because it was like trash looking, but it was still a Game Boy game. It was like GameStop they haven't. This is one thing. I hope GameStop doesn't catch up with like eBay prices, because like some of these games, like if I bought,
they are.
If I bought Silent Hill, it's $44, right? But it's an $80-$90 game on the Vita. I don't want to pay that. But
if they're selling carts, I'm bringing tools with.
Well, I was just gonna say, for NJS is 100%. He says in there, he hopes that GameStop trains their employees on how to
You're gonna spot fakes.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Keith, most of the employees now are so young and so lazy.
They
And
don't
then
know.
also,
and they
like,
don't care.
And then it's one thing that kind of pisses me off about GameStop. Excuse me, sorry. One thing that
Good Lord. Good
I
Lord.
know, right? Hey, that's a steak that you can't say. But no, one thing that makes me mad about GameStop is right. It's every store. Oh, our manager told us to do this, or somebody told us to do this.
Yeah.
Like, constantly
Yep.
do that.
Oh man, I tried
I want
A
to
lot
see
of that,
condition. I want to
I
see
tried
the
to ask
condition.
him. I was like, "Hey, you guys, I used to work at GameStop. I know you guys like when you like penny out, this, or whenever you take the promo stuff down, you throw it away. They're like, oh no, we have to destroy those now." And I'm like, "No,
No,
you
you're
don't, because
not.
I talked
No,
to
you
your
don't.
ASM and he hooked me up. So it's like
They
you're
do
obviously
lie-
not."
They do a lot of lying. in
Oh, it's
GameStop.
horrible.
I want to
A lot of
know.
horrible.
I want to know how you guys get the Tears of the Kingdom stuff from these stores, because I went into Best Buy and she's like, "We're not allowed to give that stuff out, but Associate is taking it home and disposing of it."
You gotta have the hookups.
Yeah.
You gotta have
That's what
it.
it
You
is.
gotta have
It's
it.
Every
all
GameStop-
you know. Yep.
Every
Every
GameStop
GameStop is
I've
different.
gone to, and I was like, "Hey, do you got any like the promotional items that they put up, like the posters and stuff like that?" Most of them are just like, "Yeah, the people that work here, they take them," and then and one guy was like, "Yeah," and then they go and put it on eBay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And
No,
it's
I
like
mean, like,
ridiculous.
there's a ton of it on eBay.
They do be
Yeah.
lying. They do be lying like an MF. They do. They be lying. A
Yeah,
lot
but
of
they
people
do. They
lying.
lie. They lie to
They
you. They
lie,
say, "Oh,
a
we
lie.
can't give that to you, or we can't do that," and then they
We
turn
can't
around
do
and
that.
give it to the employees there.
Well, like, cause I used to work at GameStop years and years ago. Like, it was literally bad to the point where if somebody's like traded in like pretty much a new system, and they would turn around and somebody else like, "Oh, somebody's traded that in. I want that." Yeah, no, it's defective. Ain't nothing wrong with it, but we just gotta say it's defective. Got roaches in it.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah,
you could
say
be like
whatever.
some of those folks and just dumpster dive and
Mhm.
go in the back and
Listen,
just pull
I
it out.
thought about it.
Yeah,
I seriously thought about it.
And
I did that
worth
a few times.
anything?
Not
No,
fun,
I
but
promise you,
find good stuff,
anything
find
that's
good
worth
stuff.
anything is gone. I wouldn't dumpster dive behind GameStop anymore at all. Like
No,
back
no,
in the
no.
day, you could find all kinds of stuff. We used to, so like I think almost all of us worked at GameStop at some point or another. I worked at GameStop, and we used to like have our favorite customers, and it's like they'd be like, "Hey, I'm really big into this," and it's like you call them up, be like, "Hey, we're about to, trash this or trash that," and they would just come up to the back, and you would just kind of like take it out the back and throwing it out there, but you just hand it to them instead of throwing it in the dumpster and just be done with it.
Yep, did that a lot too. Did that a lot, especially with Skyrim, because like that big Dragonborn standee thing that they used to have for Skyrim for the advertising stuff. Yeah, like somebody wanted that, and then like literally launch night came around. It was the morning after launch night. Came around back. I folded it like his compact doesn't get it, and gave it to him. Yeah, we had a lot of customers like that. And then
the other thing I remember, well, we used to have the collector's editions of stuff that would come in. Like Skyrim is actually a really good example because it came with a collector's edition coin and case and everything. Well, GameStop didn't care as long as you had the game. And so what would happen is it's like the employees would just take all the collector stuff and just put the game in the sleeve and be like, "Yep, that's all we got."
Yep.
That drives me up a wall. That chaps my ass when they sell it brand. Oh, it's brand new. Like, where the cellophane at? Where the plastic at?
Yep.
It's brand new. Like, no, it's not. I don't care if you put it in the system just to put it in and take it out. It is used. It's just like a used car. When you leave the lot, it depreciates. That is not brand new. Give me my plastic.
That happened to me on the launch night of Splinter Cell Blacklist. I had pre-ordered the only version on Wii U. Got there, I was like, "What's my game?" Oh, wait a minute. There's that. They're like, "Oh, that was your copy that came in." Hold on one second. Went in the back, took it out. Literally saw her get the disc, put it in the sleeve, put a piece of tape on. She's like, "There you go." I'm like, "What?
No.
What is this?"
No.
What?
No.
I wouldn't open
Like,
my own
no.
damn game.
Exactly.
I wouldn't open my game.
That's
Well,
another
I-
thing.
I
I
would
would
go
not.
back
I
to
would
this.
never buy like used games from GameStop online.
No.
That's just me.
Oh no.
I would never do it. Never do it.
Mm-mm.
I
I
gotta
would.
expect all that.
I've told them when they've done that before, where they pull it out. I'm like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I wanted a brand new. I don't want pre-owned." They're like, "Well, this is the only one. It's the shelf copy." I'm like, "I'll go to Target. I'll go down to, you know what I mean? I'll go to a different store. And I'll buy it. I'm not buying that. That's used. You're going to charge me full price for that."
Yeah.
So can I put a hot take out there? Kind of a controversial hot take.
Oh, here we go.
All right.
The views expressed by Dr. Tyler
It does not reflect the podcast.
Does not reflect me.
Viewer discretion
These are my personal statements and do not represent the program itself. No, I think that grading games is.
Oh, I knew he was going to do this.
I think that grading games is a ripoff. I think that it's an entire scam. I think that there's a better way that we could go about doing this, because how much money do you guys spend on getting your games graded?
$40.
For somebody to, how much?
Do you know
$20 per game, right?
Do you know why we do it though?
Because supposedly it proves that this is a perfectly sealed copy. Blah 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 blah.
Wait,
blah,
I
blah.
thought it was like $150 or $200 to get it graded.
Oh, if you want super speed service, yeah.
Yeah, if you're going through certain places, you're going to pay more. Other places, you don't have to pay as much.
Let me break out my graded games, which I got graded for free.
No. I mean, look, there's plenty of people who get sponsored. This, that, and the other. Blah blah blah. Great, that's awesome. But the bottom line is, you're paying somebody to say, yeah, this is a legit copy, or this is a whatever. When you start looking at stuff that's ultra rare, that's you don't have to
think back to the sports card era. We could go back and install cards 20 years ago without it being graded. Not anymore. If it ain't graded, it ain't worth jack squat in the sports cards.
Gotta have that letter.
No, that's not true. I literally have just watched. So there's a sports memorabilia clearinghouse. It's Gold something or other. I can't remember the name off the top of my head.
Golden Auctions.
Yeah, there you go. Them. They literally will grade stuff themselves. They don't care about anybody else's grading. They trust their own grading, and that's it. And they won't
give you the value of it. They'll give you.
You negotiate the contract. You negotiate the contract on how much you get, how much they get, and what price you need to sell it at for it to be able to be sold. So you can put reserve prices. You can do the whole entire thing. And I mean, you look at the ultra rare stuff. The problem is that it's people are like, well, I got my Tears of the Kingdom and I sent it in. I got a 9.9. Hell yeah. I'm like, bro, that's not going to be worth anything until 20 years from now.
It's not a matter.
On that one, I disagree with, because like I said, I got my graded games, right? So this new one about water, this 9.8 by New Water Seal. This is my Yokai Watch. I bought this game for $100 when it came out. The game now has gone up to over $500. If I sold it, some people have already offered me over $1,000. I'm not gonna take it because it'll break up my system. This one right here, really rare, super rare game.
Yep.
The first game I got graded 9.2 sealed, Barbie Bloom and Glam Pups, $5,000 game. I know I can get maybe about another 2,000-3,000, maybe even 10. I don't know yet, but it's good to keep this future. I hate to say future investment, but yeah,
everything that we have behind us is an investment.
Yep.
Yeah.
It really is. Let's be honest here. We're retro collectors. It's old. This is going to somebody mom and dad's old car. Yeah.
Somebody, the right person will pay for this, right? Yeah. The right person will pay for this. So, and also, I did get this graded for free. Not this one. I paid $40 on this one, but getting it graded.
Yeah, but my whole entire point is that, so for example, let's go look at Neo Geo, right? Neo Geo doesn't have to be a graded game because there's only a handful of Neo Geo cartridges out there, right? So if somebody says, hey, this exceptionally rare game is going to go for $4,500, the right collector is going to pick it up without even batting an eye. They'll be like, hell yeah, that completes my collection or whatever, right? Or it's a $330,000 game. That's not a graded game. It's $330,000. So it's I think that there's, don't get me wrong. I think that there's a purpose to have some grading done, but I think that the prices that are being charged are exorbitant.
The prices are people. Yeah, people paying their prices. And nobody's charging that. People are actually paying that. Now, some things that water stud they did in the back day was kind of suspect, but no, people are actually buying these things. I was talking about that before.
Let me interject. So you brought up Neo Geo, and I am a Neo Geo collector.
That's why I brought it up.
I know. you wanted to start the heat this evening. So we're going to go ahead and go because I collect Neo Geo and I do also have graded games. Now, do I have graded games for NES, Super NES, Sega Genesis? No, I do not. I I just so happen to have graded games for more modern stuff. Hell, I have a graded copy of Diablo 4. You asked me, many other people have asked me on Instagram, why in the world would you get a very common game? I don't get my games graded for a monetary reason. I get them for the sole purpose of these are games that I love playing, and they're so good to me that I would like to have a copy encased just to showcase, just to look at, because I like that game. I enjoy playing and putting hours upon hours into those games. That's why I have them. Out of all of these that I have graded, I have 10. There are only 3 that mean absolutely nothing to me. And the reason why I got those graded, there's only 3. And the only reason why I got those graded is so I could understand the grading process. I wanted to know what they look at, because my justification is if I'm going to send a game in, I do want the highest grade. I'm not going to waste money, $40, $50 plus shipping, to send a game out and get a shitty grade. I would rather it be the top echelon of grades, which is why I did it that way. Is it worth it to me? Hell, I could spend $200 going to a bar on a Saturday night and not think about it the next day. And many of us on this podcast have probably done that before as well. Hell, you just said you got lit tonight. I'm sure you spent that alone this evening. Right?
Yeah.
So the justification is, guess what? I'm pissing that alcohol out in an hour. Guess what? I still have that game on my shelf. Justifications. Now, in terms of Neo Geo.
Accusations.
Now, in terms of Neo Geo, it is a very niche market. It is not everybody knows about Neo Geo, and especially the young and coming up collectors, gamers, they know nothing about it. That's fine.
And they find out about it. Ooh.
And they find out about it. And many people that want to get into collecting Neo Geo, I'm like, hey, look, time out. Before you get into well, I'm being real. I'm like, before you get into this, because I didn't have anybody tell me like, yo, dude, are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure? And I'm like, nah, I can do it. I can do it. Yeah, this is easy. I'm just going to collect it like a Super Nintendo or NES. No, it wasn't like that at all. I got my ass smacked around many times with these games, but I'm still in it because I've invested so much time, research, and I actually enjoy the games and I do play them. So that's why I collect them. Now, are there collectors out there that it's not for everybody?
Absolutely not.
Are there collectors out there that have sealed Neo Geo games? Yes. Do I have a sealed Neo Geo game? I do. Will I get it graded? No, I will not. Why? Because it's in shitty condition. Also, there's only one grading company out there that grades Neo Geo. WATA doesn't do it. CGC doesn't do it because they don't want to touch it. Because it's so niche and no one knows about it. There's no reason to do it. VGA does it. Would I send my grades to send my games to VGA? Nothing against VGA, but they're outdated in terms of sending stuff out. I got to fill out 2 pages of paperwork, print that out, send that out, and do this. I don't have time for that. Everybody else is updated and automated. I would rather go through that process. So my sealed game is going to stay on my shelf. I have an additional copy that I play, and there we go. So to each his own in terms of gaming and collecting. I'm not bashing you for buying 1,000 copies of a Switch console, or buying 100 different collector's editions, U.S., Japanese, and European version. I'm not clouding you on any of that. So
yeah, but you have to
each his own and grading.
You have to admit, getting the collector's edition of the Breath of the Wild from Europe, Japan, and the United States, getting the hat trick, that was. Because the United States, it was impossible to get.
That was dope. And plus, there are subtle differences amongst collector's editions in different regions. I mean, hell, Street Fighter VI was a perfect example.
I want
I think the U.S. version of Street Fighter VI, we got gypped.
We did get
we got gypped big time.
Big time.
But yes, I think that your hot take was well received. You actually got me to reply. And I was like, I'm a little
I think I have the Mario 3D All-Stars for Switch, and I have the Ninja Turtle Shredder's Revenge that are both sealed that I'm thinking about. Just again, with what you're saying, Neo, to see the whole grading process, not because I think
$40, man.
Thousands of dollars in the future, but just to have that because I already have the games. I have 2 of them, and then I have a digital copy. So this one's sealed. Why not take it out, get it graded, put it up on the shelf as just like you'd have a trophy for a sports team or something.
I
like-
consider it. I
See-
beat the game. It's a trophy for beating.
That's
the
it.
game.
Yeah, but there's another part. There's another part to all this too, though, right? Like, and Steve had
Alan's
this
still
in
trying to make
his...
it right. Look.
No. Steve had this in his video where he was like, is this Tears of the Kingdom really worth $320 or whatever it was? And basically what happened was the collector went and got it graded and then just immediately passed the cost inflation to the end user, the consumer.
And guess
I'm
what?
like,
They bought it.
No,
Yeah.
hey, I mean, a fool and their money is soon parted. Absolutely. I mean, it's
Look
like,
at all those consoles you got.
no,
all
I
those
mean,
games you
yeah, but the way I look at it is, no, listen, so for example, I don't have any of those consoles graded, but if I try to sell them 50 years from now, I won't need to have them graded. People will buy them just because they're impossible to find in mint condition.
And same way with this.
No, but I guess the argument then becomes, is grading more for short-term sales versus long-term? Because if you're really looking at 50 years out, does grading make a difference 50 years out?
I think
depends on
the
who you're
grading
talking
in
to.
50 years,
Yeah, fair
it's
point,
going to
fair point.
basically be like, okay, when you can't try these games out anymore because, like we talked about with the servers, it's a
Right.
way for somebody to validate that these are the original titles, not copies. Because let's face it, you can make a copy of just about anything. So if it's graded, it says to the potential buyer, like, hey, this
Yeah,
is
but theoretically,
a
couldn't somebody
legit-
have a fake grading done?
Yeah, somebody could
You-
have
they-
done it.
they
but-
could, but that would hurt the company that's doing the grading, though, right?
No. But I mean, like, 50 years from now, do you think these grading companies are even going to exist? So how
We
are
don't know
because
We don't know.
We don't know that. And same thing
no,
about
but
like,
I mean,
all
like,
these
so
other stuff.
you
We
look
don't
at
know
Beanie
that.
Babies, right? Look at Beanie Babies. You have people who literally have an expertise in Beanie Babies. That's all they do. Literally, they're trained. They're art historians or whatever,
Right.
and they know the intricacies of the stitching that was used, the particular cloth and fabric, the buttons for the noses and the ears, and whatever else. And they are the world's renowned experts. So what happens is, when they've got a quote unquote ultra rare Beanie Baby come in, they show it to this person, and this person goes through and says, yeah, this is a fraud. This is the reason why. And they list all the stuff. So, I mean, grading happens, right? Like, I think ultimately, and being able to verify what is and what isn't real, I agree. I think all that stuff is there and there's a place for it. I guess it's just that, like, people will take pretty much anything and just get it graded. And I'm kind of like, it adds a lot of cost there, for a readily
Not
available
really.
title. Because I
It's
could buy a
$40.
case of well, yeah, but I could go buy a case literally by myself of Nintendo Switch Tears of the Kingdom games and have it delivered to my house, and I'll have like literally an unopened
$40
case.
though.
Let me
What
show
you
you.
want?
No, I get
Hang on,
it,
let me
but
show
I mean, it's like you're telling me that like 50 years from now, when if I try to sell those as mint
the-
copies that are
the argument-
unopened, like
The argument is
Yeah.
not 50 years from now. Nobody's really thinking about the 50. You keep saying it's 50 years from now to make a point. It's not about the 50-year thing. A lot of folks are trying to sell this stuff is really like trying to sell it quick. Just like other
Got
games.
you. Got you.
Anything games
Look at
people
this.
sell, like the stuff that you have, people
Emmett
trying
Smith.
to sell.
So look at this.
Yeah.
This is an autographed Emmett Smith second year card. Okay, I'll pull it back.
You
Right
put it
here.
back.
He only signed 1,000.
Yeah.
That's 729 out of 1,000. And everybody keeps telling me to grade this card because it's going to be worth, like, back in the day when I was collecting this back in '91, this was worth $200. If I
much
get
is it
this
now?
graded, it's probably worth a couple thousand.
Yeah.
right.
But I have zero interest in selling it because I'm a Cowboys fan,
So
and these are the last remaining.
Well, that's your
I have
first
four-
mistake being
So
a
let me
Cowboy
ask you a
fan.
question,
I mean, I have
though. Then
four
why
guys.
not wait?
but
Then
I
why
have-
not?
but I
Then
have
why
four
not wait to
cards.
grade it? Then why not wait to grade it when you're right about to sell it?
I mean, that's a decision, like, right?
Yeah, I mean,
people don't
like-
know. Like,
Yeah.
go ahead. Like, on the grade thing, like, okay, this right here, I did this first one just because, you know what? This is a super duper rare game. I don't know when I'm going to sell it. I had offers. I don't want to sell it right now, but it's the options there.
Right.
The option is always doing an
So
option.
it just
If
makes
you
it
take a-
easier
you can
for
take
you to.
You can take a $40 thing. No, it wouldn't be easy because some people don't want to buy graded stuff. It's gonna take that
That's
right
right.
person.
That's the other
But
thing.
the right
They won't buy
person
it.
always, but it's always gonna be a right person out there who wants to buy like whole collections. And this is coming with it. It's gonna come at a price, or they can buy it without it and I just sell this on its own, put it in the auction house because somebody gonna want this. This game really hasn't even hit mainstream yet. Its popularity from the 3DS yet. A lot of people still don't know
Why,
this is
why
the
would
most
somebody
game.
not want to buy a graded game? Can somebody fill me in on that one?
Why we say what now?
Why would somebody not want to buy a graded game? Like, what would prevent you from wanting to buy a graded game?
Maybe because some of the controversy that went on. Also, too, people don't know about, and I'm not taking up for it, but I'm saying a lot of people don't like. It's easy to get it graded, but also too, video game collectors are weird. Like they have this sense of entitlement of like you got to do it this way. You have to do it like this certain way, or it's not right. Like they didn't even use like resellers. Video game collectors are only collectors I know who whine, cry, and complain about a deal but not getting a deal. Like people, I tell people so much about like you should collect 3DS, collect PS3. They cry, complain, and whine until they take the store down. Then they oh you should have did. They should open this up.
But Steve,
They're
remember
never
back in the
satisfied.
day? Remember when you had those sealed games and you opened them up on camera and you were like telling everybody, you're like, yeah, that's right. I'm gonna open them and I'm gonna play them. And people lost their minds in
I
the
remember
comments
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, I remember that too. Like
Yeah.
you're kind of damned. You're
Damn
damned
if you do,
if
damn
you
if
don't, right? So
Yeah,
like
okay.
there's no right or wrong in this. Like at the end of the day, for instance, we'll go back to the Neo Geo since you brought this up, Alex. So I'm gonna keep chiming on this because
Go for it, man.
you punched my baby. You punched my baby this evening, so we're gonna talk
Wait, you
about
punched
it.
my
No, man.
baby.
You
I didn't
punched
punch
my
your baby.
Yes, you did. Yes, you
I
did.
gave you baby.
Baby.
a haircut.
Marcellus Wallace. No, I'm no. So look, yes, it is a very extremely expensive console to collect for, and I've told many people this. Like, if I could go back in 3 years ago when I first started this, would I do this? Would I say I'm going to go for a full Neo Geo US set? I would go back and tell myself, don't do it. Just collect a handful of Neo Geo games and call it good. Just collect the ones that you absolutely want. Don't go for the full set. But because I got super entrenched into the community for Neo Geo, I got super entrenched in the history of it because I mean there's tons of different stories.
Yeah.
It just I got absorbed so much into it that I'm like, wow, I didn't even know this game existed. I didn't know about the developers who created this game came from Street Fighter, or they helped create this game that spanned across all of Capcom or all of, you know, whoever, right? You learn about this history about games. And the fact of the matter is that every single one of these games came from the arcade, which is why they're so hard to beat because they were
They were designed to put your quarters into it.
It was so hard to beat.
I can't take y'all nowhere, bro.
It's so hard.
Like, you know,
I just
juvenile
can't
delinquents
the way I
trying to
used
get in the middle of some stuff.
But I mean, so the thing about it is like anybody out there can buy, collect whatever game console they want. We have collectors out there that go for a full Sega Saturn set. That's an expensive console.
Woo.
Yeah, you did do that.
That's a mother.
Turbo graphics, ColecoVision, right?
Mhm.
I mean, there's tons of different consoles that are extremely obscure, hard to find games that have a lot of rich history in terms of their gameplay, the history behind the creation of those games, and where those developers landed in the future. I think that's something that continues and needs to be preserved in terms of history and gameplay, right?
Agreed.
We can see those games on Xbox, PlayStation. They get remastered every other year, and we see a King of Fighters 15, and we see a Fatal Fury game, we see a Samurai Showdown, because they have such a rich history, right? Diablo, I'm going to bring this up. It has a rich history, right?
Oh, yeah.
PC, PlayStation, and there's millions upon millions of people that are playing that game right now.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I want to showcase a game that I never played before until the fourth game? And I fell in love with it, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean,
I fell in love with the
mean,
game that many people in the past said, hey, you know what? I want you to play this game. Like, nah, that's not my type of game. I'm good. I'll go play my Street Fighter, right? But, eventually I branched out, started playing different games that I thought, okay, hey, I need to broaden my horizons, right? Maybe like reading a book. You read outside your genre to, absorb the wealth of knowledge that you could learn. It's the same thing in video games, right? Some people play sports games, some people play fighting games.
Like, I'm not hating on collecting. Like, that's don't
You're just
take
trying to
because I
figure it
collect.
out.
I
But you want to know
myself.
about grading, though, right?
Yeah, like so for example, right? I was one of those random weird people that when The Last of Us
Not
came
every damn
out,
thing.
I picked up 3 copies of the post-pandemic edition of The Last of Us. And I opened one of them, took the statues out, displayed them. The other 2 are still factory sealed. They're stuck in a box, and they're shipping boxes, in fact, in storage. They're not graded. I can sell those easily right now for $2,500 to $3,500 a piece.
That's
Right?
great.
Okay, let me stop you right
But,
there.
like-
But people right there, see, that's the thing right there. People will feel the exact same way about you doing that as about grading, because
Yep.
they're saying that you're hogging all of it. Why do you need 3? Just leave them alone, because you can buy them. I mean, you need to. That's the same thing when people will start hating, because they're not hating like, well, you give other people a chance to buy them and don't like use all these other methods to buy everything up. You're basically bragging about scalping.
Yeah, that's
So
what poor people
exactly-
say.
See, that's disrespectful.
That's
That's disrespectful.
Yeah, that's just
That's
No,
disrespectful.
That's what the
No,
that's what the peasants say. That's
No,
what
I'm
the peasants
joking.
say.
I'm joking to some extent, but it's like one of those things
to some
where
extent.
no,
But no, that's
listen,
exactly
but no,
that's the same
but
argument,
listen,
though.
when that game came out, nobody knew what The Last of Us was. It was the first game. It was on the PlayStation 3. No frame of reference. It didn't become a big thing until several years after the release, where people were like, "Hey,
I
did you
disagree
know there
with
was a
that. People knew
collector's
what the
edition
game
of this
was
game?"
came out. People know the popularity grew. People knew about the
Oh,
game.
All you needed to know that Naughty Dog made it. That's all you needed to know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was a
but I
good
mean,
game.
Naughty Dog. Okay, look, let's not get the rose-colored glasses out. When The Last of Us came out, right? Naughty Dog was still kind of a younger studio, like when it originally came
what's it
out.
called?
They killed it with Uncharted, man.
Uncharted,
Oh,
yeah,
they
that's
did.
Come on now.
They did. Don't
What-
get me wrong, but it's
Uncharted
like,
was like the Last of Us was everything they did with Uncharted and made it just 10 times better.
That's right.
absolutely.
Yeah,
correct.
so no, it
Yes.
was no rose-colored glass. These guys was in the trenches forever, and Sony said,
They
"You know,
were
come over here."
100%.
The reason
So
I
I mean,
bought
like,
they're-
PS3 and
like-
got back into doing that.
They're one of the few
The
companies
original,
They're
the
one of
original
the few
Last of
companies now
Us.
that's doing good stuff. Like
Oh no,
name another
look, I love
company
Naughty Dog.
besides Bungie who actually brought another mainstream franchise. Like this
Yeah.
only it's not a few. I mean, it's a few, and they're one of them. So
No, but I mean, like,
You-
when
you
The
agree- you
Last of
disagree
Us
on that
came
one?
out, it was like nobody knew what the IP was. Brand new IP. They brought it. They killed it. Right? Like they knocked it out of the park. The original Last of Us on the PlayStation 3 when it dropped.
I'm
Like,
gonna
it
say
blew
2 words.
everybody's mind.
You say nobody
Like,
knew who they were?
Huh?
Crash Bandicoot.
thank you.
Crash Bandicoot.
Bandicoot,
I'm
Yeah,
just saying, like,
Jack
Naughty
and
Dog
Dexter.
is not something that anybody can take lightly, man.
Yeah, they did it
I
forever.
disagree with that.
I'm not saying that they took it lightly, but I mean, they're not when The Last of Us released, they are not the
No.
same as the company that they are now, right? So
No company.
the company,
They had to
Yeah,
grow.
that's-
no,
Yeah,
but I mean,
that's
that's my whole
fair.
entire
You
point.
know,
Like they were still a
BioWare's not
younger.
the same company.
Mhm.
Obsidian's not the same
No, but
company.
they were a younger company, is my point. So, like, The Last of Us was an untried IP before it. I mean, it hit critical acclaim. It hit, like, the players all went nuts for it. It became ultra popular. Like, they created an IP that will be here for 100 years from now. Like, The Last
Go
of
to
Us. is
Crash
like,
Bandicoot.
So Alex, what?
well,
what,
I mean,
I-
What are you
Crash
trying to
really.
say?
What are you looking
Nah, man.
for? What are you looking
nobody
for
care
in
about
the
Crash.
game?
Yeah,
What?
dude.
Ain't nobody care about Crash, huh?
What?
Oh,
Nobody care about Crash.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh,
People
What
drink
was
a little bit too
Hey,
much, y'all.
what was the
The
last
Blast
Crash
Zone.
Bandicoot game? Come on, what was the last good Crash Bandicoot game that everybody was like, "Oh man, that Crash Bandicoot game!
That
Damn,
Fort-
bro, you got to
Fort
check it
Came
out."
Boat to kick.
I said, what else?
Boat to kick.
That man's so, well, that man's starting fires bigger than the stuff going on in Canada right now.
Dude, like,
I know you
Crash-
said
Hey,
you was
actually,
gonna come with
I'm actually in Canada right now, and now you know why Canada's burning. So,
Oh my
shit.
God.
No,
no,
Alan-
I'm,
My
hey,
man said
He's
gonna come
definitely
with the
bringing the
violence to
smoke,
see.
that's for sure.
no,
Bro.
hey,
no,
like I
he
said,
bring
this is
a little
this
flame.
is the hot take. Hot take.
It's not
Hot take.
hot no. Yeah, Crash 4 so well. He's talking about it's no hot take. It's no hot take. You sound like an old man in the yelling the clouds. Crash 4 so really
Hey,
well.
we're not talking about sales. I'm just talking about, like, that
Sales
blew your
mean
socks
Crash-
off.
Crash
You
and
know
Naughty
what?
Dog did so well that every system, Sony, Xbox, Nintendo, all picked up the IP and threw it on their system.
Yeah.
You know what? I think it's more of a preference thing for you, Alex. You just don't like that game, which is fine.
That's
No,
a preference.
I, mean,
Yeah,
I
preference, that's
recognize
fine.
it for what it is and its historical importance, but it's like, you know,
It's Sony Sonic.
What-
It's Sony's Mario. I mean, Crash Bandicoot is the mascot of Sony. When you think
It was.
Okay,
It
who
was.
Well,
owns
it's true.
it now?
It was.
Just
Let me
curious,
drop
who owns
this.
it now?
Let me drop this bomb. Alex, what's your favorite game? All time.
Gears.
My favorite game of all time.
Gears of War.
Yeah.
Halo 3, Halo 2.
Gears of War. It's Gears of War. It's Gears of War.
Well, okay,
Don't
so
say it.
it's a tie. No, it's a tie
No,
between
It got to be
No,
one.
it gotta be
One
one.
game.
Give me a
he's
time.
probably,
No ties.
it's probably COD.
Street Fighter 2 Turbo.
Okay.
All right.
Named yourself.
I think what we gather is Alex said it's okay to collect like him, but not like everybody else.
No,
What do you
not
think?
at all. I'm
I
not
mean,
saying
because
that at all. I
if,
think
if,
collecting.
if
So,
I wanted to bring up a hot take right now, Alex, I could be like, why do you collect so many things that you don't play?
Yeah.
Well, no,
Why
like,
do you?
what-
Ah.
Why
what
do
do I
you
not
hoard so
play?
many
Like,
collections and consoles? Why do you buy
No,
so many?
consoles. Like, I mean, I have an open Switch and an open PlayStation 5
You
and
do
an
have
open
those,
Xbox
but you
Yeah,
Series
you
also
don't
X.
have
need-
numerous
why have-
unopened
Why you
Switches and
why you have
PlayStation
so
5s.
many of them though?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
I'm gonna flip them. I'm gonna flip
Ah,
them.
there
later.
you go.
No,
No,
you
you
not.
Yeah, it's for the money.
No, you quit capping. Quit capping.
No,
We
it
didn't
is
see
for
in
the
the
money, but I'm
pictures.
not trying to sell them now. I ain't trying. I'm like, oh,
You
gonna
said
wait
that
50
20 years
years.
ago.
You gonna wait 50 years?
hey, have I gotten to 50 years?
Hey,
yet?
didn't we say about
That's
the
the gold.
pictures
That's
are
the gold
never
standard.
happening? We still got to see these collections that he talks jazz
He,
about
he,
all the time.
so he
throws
them out there
Yeah,
every
he-
so
he-
often.
yeah,
like,
yeah.
hey
Steve
guys,
knows
take a
what's
look.
up. Yeah, Steve
Yeah,
knows what's
I've
up.
seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
capping
yeah,
it. He's definitely, folks. He's got the collection. He definitely has a lot.
He's
He
definitely
has
put
a
it-
lot.
Well, like I
he's
said,
de-
He could
You
probably fit a
collect-
storage
hey,
unit
mhm.
with all his extras.
Mhm.
He could probably fit a.
Hey guys, look
Well,
look
Alex-
at this Xbox Series Elite Controller 2 Halo Edition. Oh, you can't find that shit.
Alex, you
anywhere now.
wanted to do this evening, didn't
Yeah.
you? You
Hey,
wanted to start
I
this.
want to see you guys
Yeah,
heartburn.
Yeah.
Alex lit this one up.
But hey, what Alex wanted to do though is Alex is the exact same collector as people who grade games. They're the exact same two people. They're the exact same two people.
No, I mean, I'm not. I'm
No,
not, again,
y'all
I'm not
the
hating on
exact-
nobody.
I know you're not hating, but y'all the exact same two people. Both of y'all can't figure out what the other person is doing, but y'all still do it. It's like, oh, I'm doing it because it never get down.
I think the common thing here that's being missed is that it doesn't matter who you are. I mean, we're all different here. Every last one of us,
course.
even
Yeah,
on the
no.
podcast.
Collecting
But
is an individual thing.
It
Yeah.
is, but there is one key thing that unites all of us, and it's video games.
Oh,
That is the sole purpose that's bringing all of us collectively together here tonight is the conversation of video games. Whether you collect, whether you grade them, whether you collect multiple collector's editions and hold them, whether you go nickel and dime your way to the top until you can get your collection the way
Yeah,
you
you
want
talking
to.
about Crash.
Yeah.
There's no right or wrong way of doing it. And if you have
Here.
20 games or if you have 1,000 games, it doesn't matter because we're all gamers here. We all enjoy playing
Some of
video
us aren't
games.
afraid to get on camera. Some of us are.
Yes,
Ah,
that too. I'm like,
saying.
you can't be throwing the smoke and you can't show your face neon lights. What's wrong
Nah,
with
it's
you?
like that.
Or pictures.
See, that's the whole entire thing because it's like being the international man of mystery is its own reward, man. Because when I go to GameStop or I go to Goodwill or I go to whatever, ain't nobody know me. I just walk up in there and be like, I'm this bumbling old man and be like, how much is that? I can't see the price.
I need 6 of them. So I can hold on. I'm be here in 50 years. He'll be the head and like I could have played those games.
Listen, look, my whole entire collection isn't even about me. It's for the next generation, right? So when I'm dead and gone, then my descendants will be the ones that'll be like taking all that stuff
This
and like,
man said
you know.
descendants.
yes, sir.
He's like 2,000 years later.
But
They gonna open up
That
this
is a
box.
straight up fact.
Oh my gosh, look at this artifact they found, Dad. Oh my god, it's something called
No, that
Crash
hey, man, I got the mausoleum. I got everything. Like people are gonna open up the crypt and it's gonna be Goonies up in that bitch.
Hey, wait, but we'll ask. Well, wait, but what if like the future generation don't want to take on that house? So like, what if this is like, hey, look, like that was my granddad, my great grandfather's thing. I don't want no parts of it because look, my family.
Nah, man, who doesn't like
Okay.
money?
Hold
up,
up,
who doesn't
I don't want
like
no
money?
farm. All right, I'm good.
Okay,
Who
so
doesn't like money?
if you were stuck on an island, no internet. I think we've had this conversation before. I don't know. I've been on many podcasts at this point, and I've been drinking. So, what is the game that you choose to be with you while you're trapped on this island? Only one.
Oh, for sure.
No internet.
Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Street Fighter 2 Turbo.
No, Alex.
Street Fighter 2 Turbo.
For me, it would be Skyrim.
No internet.
No internet.
Yeah, I'll probably say Skyrim.
That
Okay.
just means
there's
you
still-
can still play Skyrim.
There's still stuff on there that I get
Okay.
discovered. So yeah, I'll probably say Skyrim.
I mean, I guess called recent bias. I'm going to have to say Street Fighter 6, but that's just recency bias. You know? I can, but man, no, it definitely might have to be like.
Yeah, like
if I get some play out, it probably.
Like fighting games, I thought, you just gotta get pissed off at that shit. Don't want to touch it.
Oh, does this have to be a fighting game or is it any game?
It has to be
Any
Mario
game,
World.
Any
It
game.
might have to be Mario World, probably me. It just might be Mario World. It's got to be a Mario game. Mario World, maybe it might be Galaxy, because I love the music in Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the game is, I ain't gonna say perfect, but it's really good, especially when you use a controller, not the Wii mode, but Galaxy is so darn perfect. Now, Mario World is perfect. Mario 3 is perfect. Hey, it had to be one of those. It'd be hard. I had to give me, I had to give me one of them cards that says 1-100 all those games.
I take one of those.
Yeah, I had to give me one of those. I just had to.
No cap. That's a great answer, right there.
The 1-100.
That is 101 or EverDrive or whatever.
Yeah, I had to give you a.
That is a great answer.
Never
because I said one game. I didn't say what type of game. I said
I had to
game, and you get the golden ticket to Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory, brother. You won the factory. That is the golden ticket answer right there. And I see in the chat,
Veruca Salt up in here. What's up?
What if your descendants don't want that stuff?
Yeah,
What if they
Yeah,
don't?
I was asking that.
So okay, hold up. That's actually a really good question. And the reality is, it's like, I mean, how many times have you seen people who they've got a grandparent, a great grandparent, they die, and what do? They go to an auction house and they're like, just sell everything, we don't care, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And a lot of it has to do with how you have all of your stuff set up, right? So if you put your collection into a trust and then you put stipulations on what can be done with it, yes, you can sell it, yes, you can liquidate it, but you can't sell it in bulk at an auction and you have to liquidate it this way. There's stipulations and stuff that you can do, and you can actually put the property into a trust so that, like, basically you're not going to probate court and there's not people like fighting over stuff. You carve it all out and have all that stuff kind of like, basically broken down for them. So you have like an entire inventory. This is like what I have for like my NES, SNES, this, that, and the other. And you kind of go through, it's like, these are the relative prices at this time. You can have an automated system that goes through and kind of keeps like, or even having somebody go through and manually just keep an eye on all the prices and things like that. So that when you do pass away, they don't have a whole bunch of heavy lifting to do. So that's on you as the collector to be able to create something so that when you do pass it on, because I mean, all of you guys, right, have massively cool collections of stuff that's worth a shit ton of money, right? We're not talking like, hey, this is $150. No, it's more like $150,000.
My wife's gonna sell it all for $50 because I keep telling her everything costs $1 when I buy it, or I get it for free.
No,
She's gonna sell it all for like $50.
What you do with your spouse and all that stuff, everybody's got their own like whatever. But I mean, you can have a conversation with your attorney when you're doing your estate planning, and you can go through and say, look, I have a huge collection of video games. They have a relative value of X. They need to make sure that when they are liquidating this, or if they want to keep it for themselves, if they're collectors, then you can put some stipulations in there. The part that's incumbent upon us as collectors is what you want to pass it on, that hobby of collecting onto your descendants, your kids, your grandkids, your great grandkids, right? Because I guarantee you there's going to be one or two of them. They're going to be like, man, grandpa such and such, it's like, this is awesome, I love it. And it's like, I'm all over whatever, and it's like, they want, like, I want all of his, like, Street Fighter stuff, and I want all the Skyrim stuff. And it's like, there's a reason for that, because maybe they buy into the hype too. So I don't think it's like a super complicated thing. It's like any other estate planning. If you set yourself up right, it won't be a problem when you're gone.
Well, I've had the conversation with my wife, and I was like, hey, if something happened and it's the video game collection or the house. I mean, I want you to have a roof over your head, get rid of the games. And she's like, nope, I'd sell the house before the games. I'm like, what?
Wow.
I'm like, why?
Wow.
I'm like, why? She's like, I don't need it. It's like her words to me were, when we first started dating and I was gaming all the time, she just didn't understand it. And it took years for her to just click and like, this is who I am, right? This is the individual I am. This is how I grew up. Video games have been a huge foundation in my life. It started from my mom, right? And she was like, I've grown to love seeing you pick up a game that you're so excited to get because you found it, and you found it just randomly. Like for an anniversary gift a couple years ago, this is actually how I met Steve. We were at the game store. There was a Neo Geo game I had just started collecting. She bought for my anniversary gift, and it was the best gift she's ever given me. It was the best gift. Like, she's like, early on, she was not the best of gift givers, but she's literally killed it. I mean, we've had this conversation many times, but she has literally destroyed it the last like 4 or 5 years in the gift giving game because she just understands what I like now. And like,
she learned your love language, didn't she?
She learned it. She learned it, and it was like Christmas. She got me, hey, I got you the Xbox refrigerator. I'm like, oh, word? You got me the refrigerator? I was like, oh my God. And on top of that, she got me a CIB SNES Fatal Fury Special, and I used to play the hell out of that game growing up. And I was like, oh my God, it had all the inserts. I'm like, girl, how did you know? How did you know? Oh my God, I love you so much. I'm like, but she, and the Neo Geo. The Neo Geo Pocket Color. She got that for my birthday. I'm like,
I remember that.
Girl, what you trying to do? Girl, what you trying to do? But it's being able to understand. Yes, I think in the chat, it's romantic. It's a love language. It's a many things. And I've had this conversation with my daughter too. I was like, hey, look, I know you're a gamer, but you're not the same type of gamer as me. She's met many people around the world playing Roblox. That's her game. She loves it. Genshin Impact. That's her game. Minecraft. That's her game. She doesn't find the value in physical. She'd rather play digitally. That's the generation. But I'm like, hey, look, I leave this up to you. If you want this collection when I'm gone, it's yours. If you don't, I'll pass it on to a cousin, a nephew, whoever that values the physical media of video games. But just know it's there for you if you want it. You can do whatever you want with it because I can't take it with me.
Yep, great point.
But I mean, like, the take-home message on this is that collecting is a very personal thing, right? Everybody has their own version of why and how they collect. The second take-home on this is that these are not just objects and things. They are also memories. They are also our passion and things that we care about.
Yes.
And on top of that, they are a commodity. They are a valuable asset. This is something that, people collect cars. I collect cars, right? So like for me, that's something that I'm really big into, and I'm willing to put the money into it. And I know that at some point, somebody's going to sell my car collection. I'm not going to be able to hold on to stuff. Or, maybe it's going to be divvied up amongst the descendants. I love using that word, by the way. So, it's
generational video game wealth, y'all.
Generational video game wealth.
He got money in the
That's right. Hey, look, I'm glad that we have this episode recorded because it's like there's a lot of new terms that we've coined tonight, and I love it.
Yeah.
But I mean, the bottom line is that it's like, this collecting, at some point, somebody may say enough is enough, and I'm going to go ahead and cash out.
A lot of people have, you know what?
Yep.
And a lot of people are aging out.
It's like you sold an entire collection. You sold an entire collection.
Hold on, I had to sell an entire collection because I needed the cards and pay out some stuff, but I built it back up. And
in a short amount of time too.
Yeah.
I know I did.
If anything, your channel grew even more from doing that. So
100%.
So it was investment. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, and that's a lesson too. I show people like, you know what, like, not to be cocky, but I probably can find 2 more of these if I sold it. I probably could.
I'm sure you could.
I can.
Yeah.
I'm positive. Yeah.
I don't see games I used to. That when I sold my collection, that what broke me. Like first, I was one of those collectors like, oh, I'm never selling nothing. But then when life hit, like it wasn't that serious. I was like, you know what? I got these things, these games around me. They bring me joy. Most of them I'm not going to play. A lot of them I have played growing up. A lot of them I love and enjoy, but I can get rid of it and be really good. Like tomorrow, I could sell off my 3DS collection, pay off my car. I mean, do I want to do that right now? No. I mean,
No.
I'll eventually pay my car off, but also I really do enjoy this 3DS collection because one, I don't want to go through that shit again. I do not want to go through that again. I would rather go through Sega Saturn than going through that. But and Sega Saturn is a lot easier than collecting the 3DS. I'll tell you that right now.
Let,
I did both.
Let me ask you a question, Steve, because you brought up a good point. Like,
okay,
God forbid you ever had to sell it again. I mean, like,
yes,
outside of the norm that you want to sell it. So let's say you had to sell it.
Okay.
Would you start over again?
I would, just because I love it. I love going out getting games. I love building. I know that I can do it again. What I will want to, like on some of the stuff games, like damn, I want to buy this again. But I know tricks and tips and ways to get stuff, you know, the right way, so to speak. Hey, boom, boom. But you know, like seriously, I wouldn't. I'll do it again. I thought about like I'm gonna sell everything and. I mean everything to start over from scratch, but I don't want to. I thought about selling everything, like kiosks, everything, just starting over scratch. But then I have money to buy stuff over again. So I don't need to, but I'm blessed and thankful that God gave me the ability to keep this stuff. You know, like I said, God gives you the desires of your heart. My desires are these video games, these for people, relationships I have, all this stuff here. And so it's a lot more. A lot of this stuff right here, when I found this, I keep going back to this, but this right here, I traded for this, and I got a friendship out of somebody in another state who owns a video game store, you know, forgotten freshness. Frank is really good. So but I encapsulated this. If I ever to sell it, I will. But things like I found, like this, the 3DS, not 3DS, but the Smash Bros. In GameStop, little stuff like that, moments like that. I probably wouldn't want to really give away. It just those moments, like the day's video I had when I was with Mort. I've guessed and found we was playing a game and I guessed the right game to go see what it was.
That was dope. I thought that was cool.
I was like, what? I didn't. Just moments like that. So I look at my collection as like moments and stuff like that. Money does come with it, but it's really not that serious in the end of the day.
No, but I mean,
if I had to let go of the Neo Geo, I wouldn't do it again.
Oh, I bet you wouldn't. I
wouldn't do it again.
No,
I would not do it again.
Like, so there's another point here too, though, right? Like, and this, I'm glad that Steve and you guys brought this up. There was a point where Steve said, you know, I was never going to sell any of my games. I was hell-bent. I was going to keep them, and that's the way it was. But then his life situation changed, so he was like, I got to bail on my collection, right? And so I think that collecting is one of those things that's a organic, constantly evolving thing for each individual collector. In other words, you may feel a certain way for a certain period of time, and then at some point you're like, you know what? I'm done. I'm out. I'm selling and liquidating everything. Or, you know what? It's like this particular collection is not something that I want to keep up with, and it's too much for me, and it's too much of a burden. So I want to go ahead and be like, you know, get rid of whatever, you know? And so I think that it's a living, breathing thing. Collecting is not this monolithic thing that never changes. And each of us, you know, has different preferences over time about how and what and why we do things.
I would have never met you guys if it wasn't for me beginning this journey to collect. I would have never come across none of you. Like it's a very good. I mean, and to that point, my daughter, and I bring her up again because she has friends in London now because through gaming. She met a young lady in New Jersey, same age, and they've met up a couple of times. They've actually been here over the summer, and we went to New York last year, and they met us in New York, and the power of video games is just super crazy how it's happened. 'Cause I
facts.
mean, we had these conversations when we were kids growing up. Wouldn't it be great if we could play with somebody, overseas and build friendships with someone online? And it's become a real thing now in a real world, and our children are able to do all the things and connect in such a way where, it's not about all this BS in the world. It's just the game, and they're engaged.
Yep.
And it's about, and I'll bring it back to my coin, they're there together to beat the boss.
But that's
Beat the
that's
boss.
even how I found Steve again. Like I didn't really keep up with, he was doing some stuff. Being in the home arcade space, I was buying those mini Super Nintendos and mini NESs because I didn't really want to go through having the collection and stuff. And then when that kind of got stale, my kids were like, "Oh, let's grab some of this stuff." I'm searching around YouTube and I come across Steve, and he's doing this, teaching people how to go find deals and to build your collection. And so that's when I started to go really into, I can go here and find, these retro games, and I don't need to use just the emulators or the single cartridges that have 100,000 games on it that you can play on regular hardware. So for me, that was something, I mean, like you're saying, I wouldn't have found a lot of the people in the community without doing that, right?
Yeah.
My world was home arcades and the home pinballs and all that stuff. So coming into this world, it was interesting to kind of learn how to do all this from people that are like, yeah, you just go out to pawn shops, you go here, and you learn this, and you build friendships around it. And I think when I look at when Steve and I were just at Corks, like that PlayStation thing, even though as stupid as it is, it's just like it's a backdrop. But every time I look at that piece, I was like, hey, Steve and I went hunting for that. Like we found that, like there's sentimental stuff attached to it, right? Like it's gonna be tough for me to get rid of. Somebody could come in and like, oh, I'll give you so much money for it, and I'm just like, nah, because Steve and I, the first time we met in person, man, that was what we, and I'm sure there's gonna be more things with people.
Yeah, and the game that you bought me, the game that you bought me, I put it up, that Star Fox. I already had it. But, I mean, a clean box you got me. Like, I'm gonna still keep that, and it's like,
dude, we got a steal on that.
We did got a steal on that.
We got a steal on that.
So basically, the dude had a box of Star Fox Guard, right? Star Fox Assault Guard all together, brand new. And what we get, like both of them for like 30 or something.
I think so, yeah, because he wanted 20 a piece for him, and you were like,
man, you need to get this
for 30 or something like that. And he's like, he's like, all right, fine. So and that's what we did. So we got,
it was,
and I would say to add to that, because like there's always a saying that there's different seasons in your life, and I'm pretty sure when everybody started their journey, we started at different times, and at one point none of us had any of this stuff that we got right here. Because I remember when I actually remember the day that me and my fiance started back collecting again, because when I was younger I had like small collections, but GameStop got my ass because I was a broke child, couldn't really afford too many games. So it was like, hey, gotta start liquidating some of those assets. So it was like, you want a new game? Hey, you got no allowance money. You gotta do what you gotta do.
That's right.
Yeah. But yeah, it was for us. It was in 2019. It was like 5 or 6 months before the pandemic started, and we were just like flipping through like old magazines. I got like some Game Pro magazines outside, and he was looking through and going back down memory lanes. Like, damn, I actually miss playing a lot of these games. Yeah. So we just, little by little, start hitting a pawn shop, game store, and start building the collection back up and things like that. And I would probably say, and because of that, I've met, like, of course, Steve, Ness, and everybody else here because of that particular hobby. But I will say, back to my original comment, how there's different seasons in our lives. There's going to be different seasons as to where, like what Steve was saying, like eventually there's going to be some points either he wants to get rid of it, save it, or do whatever he wants to do with it. I mean, God forbid he doesn't have another situation like that come up in life that he has to do that. But, if he wants to, it is there. But I won't lie, like, because I already told you guys, like, my process of moving, when you start actually realize, especially if you're like trying to move out somewhere, like in a house or a townhouse, when you start actually looking at all the physical shit that you got, you start thinking, I don't want none of this stuff anymore. Because trust me, like most of the stuff, like with my GameCube stuff, when I tell you like how heavy that box was, I was like, why do I even want this?
But then you probably really packed it too, because you didn't want damage anything, so that takes even more time.
Yeah.
So
I
like,
dread it if we move. Oh my god.
Like moving house is like that. That's a taxing thing altogether. When you start looking,
it is taxing.
All the little shits, like bro. Because I actually did start like selling off some of the other stuff, like stuff I didn't want. Because after a while, when I got this new space, because I started growing out of stuff, it's like, all right, I don't want this anymore. Don't want that. Well, I kind of only want to collect for like this little niche market of like games, so I don't want that. And then like I was telling my fiance the other day, like I damn near got a vast majority of the GameCube collection. Let Nintendo announce a GameCube Mini. All that shit is gone. I'm telling y'all, all that shit is gone. I'm telling you, like at that point, cause look, at that point, it's like, yeah, I enjoy having the physical game, but if I can like mod that joint to where I can put all the games on it, that don't mean shit to me anymore.
That's why I stopped collecting for NES.
Yeah,
I stopped collecting for NES because when the Nintendo Mini came out,
you can mod it.
NES, I was collecting for Super Nintendo. I'm like, why am I in the? I'm like, no, I don't need it. It took us some, and it was like a genuine Nintendo product that I can just flip on and play. If I really want to collect, this is how I collect now. Like old stuff like that. If I really have a sentimental value, or if I want it, like. I plan on one day having all the Mega Man games again in box. So that's something I like. Or all like the Capcom games, a subset. I like collecting in subsets and little mini groups. I'm over the dick measuring contest of like I got that. I don't got to be that. Now, some things I do complete just because I'm a madman, like the PlayStation Pursuit stuff. I'm doing it, but it's a subset.
But that's why I'm doing PlayStation games because of the sentimental side of it. Like I'm not doing that with SNES. I have one of those modded ones that have. I modded it. The mini that has every game.
Like the
N64. I'm just buying like with Super Nintendo and N64 Genesis, buying the games that I want, that I play, or I got a good deal on it. Like I'm not trying to get a complete collection. But the NES. There's sentimental value there that I would love to try to get that complete.
You see, I'm sorry. I mean, let me read this.
Go ahead.
Before you get into me read this, but Tim, I just saw this. He'll say he's 62. I'm 62. Sold a bunch of heavy hitters a decade or so too early. I have no interest nor the means or ever trying to get it back. I enjoy the systems and the games I have kept. And you know, I can imagine the heavy hitters that he sold. And he's like 62. You know, like I mean. I ain't say he in a light note, but you know, he's just mature older man. He don't want to, you know, deal with all that stuff. But, you know, when I get 62, I might not want to deal with all this stuff, you know? And that's like,
well, Steve, next year when you turn 62, we'll be sure to revisit this.
I knew that joke was coming. I knew it. Hey, you look more than 62 than I do, so come on.
No, I look like I'm 72. I got the walker, the whole thing. We
has the thought crossed any of you guys' mind about selling the retro stuff? And taking that money and just collecting for Switch, PS5, and Xbox Series
Not
X.
really.
No.
Because because the new stuff don't seem really desirable. The only thing that's really desirable is really the Switch. Now the PlayStation 4 maybe, but I just don't see myself as that because right now, like, what are you collecting? I mean,
the modern consoles. Again, my thought process is we're trying to play catch up with everything that's, you know, find these heavy hitters or things that could be heavy hitters from the past, where we could sell all that and just get all the stuff now. And then 10 years from now, 15 years from now, we're like, we've already gotten all that stuff. We got it at retail and not at what it's going to to.
Switch is too much.
Yes,
I know. There's a lot of, that's why
it's over 1,800 plus games. It's absurd.
I was looking at it on GameMy, and then because you know, I use GameMy because most of these apps they'll tell you like you have X amount out of this many collection for it. Right now, it says there's over 6,177 games on Switch, and that's including digital versions that probably don't have prints, or that something like Limited Run is doing like special prints for.
That's the problem right there. The Limited Run and all those additional companies that are
doing have to be just media. The official.
Oh, just the official license stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, that's still a lot.
That is a lot. No, you have to do, and I'm not talking digital either, right?
Yeah, physical.
Because how are you going to fit that on your Switch?
I see myself going cross-eyed looking at that collection. Just because it's just a sea of there's no difference in the spine.
It's a sea of red. Just do the math. That's why I got those custom spines, man. So I was tired of seeing a wall of red. I couldn't see shit.
It's just like, gosh, I couldn't do it. I'm on the side right now. I'm collecting for an Xbox, OG Xbox Platinum Hits. So I'm doing that. I'm not recording that. I'm not putting that on YouTube. I'm just doing it for fun.
You're just doing it for fun.
I'm just doing it for fun. But there's not a big, there's not a huge community for folks to go and collect OG Xbox. And there's some. I love Xbox. Me personally, I played the hell out of my Xbox growing up.
Yeah, that's gonna be real valuable later on.
I mean, it's one of those things.
These spawns right here made my collection so much better.
Yeah, that's nice.
Entirely better. Mm-hmm.
See, that would change my perspective on maybe buying more Switch games, but I'm like, I have a small subset of Switch games, and I'm leaving it at that. I play those games. I'm done. I don't want to go and start going down this rabbit hole going for Switch games. I've seen collectors.
Yeah, but if you want to do an entire Switch collection and there's 6,000 plus titles at $60 a pop, I mean, just if you were able to get them at MSRP, that's $360,000 at minimum, and that's not including the collector's editions. It's not including the whatever.
You said how much?
360,000, right? 60 times 60,000.
That's a house.
Yeah,
that's
more
than a house.
The Switch is what, 8 years old? Like, if you divide that cost over 8 years, you literally would have to have a full-time job worth of salary per year buying every title that came out.
Or
I mean, more power to the people who want to do it.
You got those spines off of Etsy?
No.
Yeah,
no, it's like I collect stuff based off of certain interests that I have, and I'm really big into collecting, collector's editions that have statues, stuff like that. And I've gotten really big into collecting statues. I like the statues, and I mean, like, I'm not talking just game statues. I like all the sideshow collectibles, Prime 1 collectibles, like the high dollar statues, like that are the true polystone, like the big heavy, it's 55-pound, like 48-inch tall statue of whatever.
They
right?
all need to grow it.
Well, some of it's sure.
I got a special
heat
place
damage.
for them.
Heat damage. Nope. In heat.
Well,
humidity.
Temperature controlled.
Oh, okay.
No, we're good.
But I think a lot of this is we're like when we build our game rooms. At least this is how I am. When I come down here, I want that feeling that I had when I was a kid when I walked in to play that game, or like when I built this mini arcade. Yeah, they're not real arcades, they're 3/4 scale, but when you come down here, it's that vibe that you get, the sound, voice, that you're sharing that experience with people, like your kids or whatever. I mean, I've got action figures still in the packaging hanging on the walls and stuff like that. Just that surrounding yourself with the stuff that you fell in love with as a kid doesn't mean you have to have every collection or everything.
No.
But just being in like my wife always says, like, this is your area. Like,
Yes, mine says too.
Yeah, like your kids come down here and they're just like, they get to experience what you experienced 30 years ago.
You can be in your area and you don't have to have anything on. Like, I know y'all feel like I can be in here and I can sit in this chair or sit in my other chair and just not having the TV on, or just have the light and just sit there and think and like, okay, I'm comfortable. This is my space. This is my zen. It's like,
but you're laying it out even like a game store, like when you were as a kid.
Yeah.
I think that's the draw of having these physical games, right? To have it to where you walk in and it's like, man, I remember when Babbage's. I don't know if you guys had Babbage's.
Oh,
we had
Babbage's.
We did.
Right? You walk in and this is how Babbage's had this laid out, and this was one of my favorite parts of the store. So you duplicated that in your game room.
Yep.
Nobody else gets it but you.
Yep.
Right?
And then when people come over, they're like, "Oh, we at GameStop." Well, kind of.
Yeah,
right.
I get that. My game room, my office sits smack dab in the middle of my game room. So my work computer, all that stuff. I have a personal computer, which is what I'm utilizing right now. But I get on work calls, and of course, I've got my video on. And the first 15 minutes of those calls consist of customers and salespeople, and they're like, "Yo, bro, can we talk about your background?" Like, yo, that's the greatest virtual background I've ever seen. I'm like, oh, no, it's real. Here, let me show you. And I'm like,
oh my God, that's not green screen.
Whoa. And I've got somebody over here, they're messaging me on side, bro, keep talking. You're doing great. I'm like, we're not even talking about work right now, man. Like,
But
Get that.
everybody
Just
loves
keep
it.
talking.
Hey, look, you'd be surprised how many professional relationships you can build off of just something that's completely like not even relevant to
It
the conversation.
has
Yeah.
changed
Yeah.
every single conversation I've had with people I don't know, customers, fellow employees that don't know me. They reach out. I'm helping them through the process or whatever we're doing, but they go down this memory lane for 15 minutes, like, oh my God, I remember playing this when I was 5. I remember when my dad bought me this game. I remember going to the arcade and playing this game. Please tell me you have this game. Do you have it?
That's
and I'm just like,
100% it.
it's right here. Oh my God, please, can I come to your house? You know, it's just, it's
It
like,
opens a lot of opportunity.
it
I just
does.
sent
for
Steve.
sure.
I just sent Steve.
It's an
a picture.
icebreaker.
Steve, if
Mhm.
can
It
you
is.
pull that up?
All right,
This,
hold on.
this is how we set my kids room up. Check this out.
Oh yeah, let me.
This is a Switch double XL.
You made one of these, didn't you? Or did you get this?
No,
one?
a friend of mine made this.
Oh really?
Yeah, he made that.
Oh,
I've seen those.
That's
I've
dope.
seen those.
The
I've
door
seen
now
those.
they
Those are
open
really
up
dope.
and there's shelves inside there on the Joy-Cons.
really?
He made this.
Mhm.
A buddy of mine made that for
Oh,
that
I didn't know
TV.
I didn't know those were shit like storage units too.
Yeah,
I
you
didn't
can
know that.
open
Like,
them up. They're
I've
on.
seen those made, but I didn't know they could open up. That's cool.
But we did
That's
that.
dope.
We set it up real clean like that for him for in his room and like
Dude, that's
Look what he got. He got a Series S PS5 and the OLED
Yep.
Switch.
that's
Mhm.
what
He
yeah.
good. He good.
But that's his, so he can just sit there and switch between it. But we wanted to do something unique, right? So we, with having this, like, what kid is gonna come into a bedroom and be like,
a giant
dude, you got a
Switch.
giant Switch hanging on your wall?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's gonna be hard to get him out of the bedroom. I mean,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he don't leave. He's got his
Don't
little
leave.
Xbox refrigerator. He's got his.
oh yeah,
you know.
he's set.
But he's more into the new stuff. Like he has like zero. Like I shouldn't say he likes the collecting part, but he doesn't really play the retro stuff.
Mhm.
Like he'll try it out just to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Let me ask you guys a quick question. Do you think there's ever going to be a point where you stop collecting? Like, what do you think
Yeah.
will
I
be
don't
the
think-
Yeah,
circumstance?
it will be
Yeah.
for me. Mhm.
It might
Yeah.
be, but I don't think. I think I still will just be. I think I still just buy games.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't say because like every stage of life is different. Like, will I
do you
age
think
out
you'll
of this
only buy
eventually?
games to play them versus buying games to
Yes.
collect them?
I do. I think
I-
that's exactly what's going to happen.
And then I even think, like, to your question, you were saying, is it going to be a time that we like stop collecting? If we don't decide that, Sony and Microsoft will, because those people are already doing it already with
Yeah.
digital releases. So
No,
if
but I'll
you
be
don't
honest.
decide, they're going to decide for you. I can tell you right now.
That's funny.
Yeah, but
See,
I'll be honest.
Folks
it's
trying
like,
to get
I've
adopted
been-
up in here.
I know, right? You see that? He trying to get adopted.
I
You
do
need
dishes.
some?
I take out the trash too. I
No,
just
but
need a
listen,
switch.
listen, like it's kind of funny because you guys have brought it up, and it's like I seriously have been kind of considering like liquidating everything, like just being like, I'm done with this, and I'm gonna clear everything out. Now,
Are you really going?
I'll never-
really.
Yeah,
I'll-
hell will
no, but
freeze over
listen,
first.
Listen,
I think
I'll
that's
never
what I'm
stop-
talking about.
one of
I'll
everything.
never stop being a gamer, but it's like there's a part of me that's like, bro, just go ahead and sell everything, and then take that money and do something else with it or whatever. Like,
I'm
and I've got a lot of
You can do a lot
different.
with that.
I don't know.
Would you
know
have
what?
remorse?
I
Would
feel
you
you.
have
Think
seller's
about it.
remorse? Would you
No,
have
I-
seller's remorse?
Everyone
know
would.
what?
I think everybody would.
Let me tell you
Everybody
something.
has a
How
certain
long
amount,
lasts,
right?
yeah.
It's just, can you live with yourself? And the answer is, like, as long as I feel like I haven't been ripped off in what I'm selling, I think I'd be okay. Yeah, I miss
Steve, how
things.
did you feel in that moment when you let your collection go? Even though you had to, you were in a bind. What ran through your head in that first 30 minutes? Were you like,
I felt relieved because I know. You know what I did? I did it in stages. Like I put everything away. Like, and this is hits for me. I put everything in a different room, and I took everything off the shelf
So you
for
want
like 2 days,
I
and then
got
put it in a box and just sit in the room and came back and like let it like just like like not go cold turkey, but like okay, this is not that bad. And then when I saw the money, I bought. Oh, this is even better. And let me tell you another thing. When I went to Japan, that's like I can like just. I really wanted to travel the world. I can like, let me sell just everything and just travel the world and just go completely digital. Seriously, like I'm still thinking about that. Like, That's why I'm transitioning my content.
I would say that.
Did you get the indecent proposal vibe, like when you let your wife, Demi Moore, sleep with Robert Redford for $1 million, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, why did I let that happen? Like,
I know
you get that moment.
Look, you set me up, but hey, I think she was always doing that anyway. So
No, not your real. I mean, not your ex. I'm talking. I'm talking about you're married to your collection. Jesus Christ! Oh my God! Wow, that's not what I meant at all. I'm talking about the collection being, your significant other, and then
no. I never allow myself to be that type of person to let myself get attached to like a physical item that I know is not worth shit.
Well,
I ain't saying not worth shit,
but then you're not collecting. You're hoarding. If you can't let it go.
You're hoarding. You're hoarding.
Yeah.
And that's what we tell Alex all the time. He's a borderline hoarder. He's a doctor, but he's a borderline hoarder.
Steve was able to walk away, and I think most of us here could sit there and say, if we had to in a pinch to get rid of this, we would get rid of it.
Like, and I mean, I don't have to. I'm at that point though where I'm just kind of like, I literally have boxes going up to the ceiling. And I've got 12-foot ceilings.
Ooh,
you need to get rid of some of this stuff.
You said most of those boxes.
Okay, so Alex is a hoarder.
Aren't open, right?
He is a hoarder.
Yeah.
He just don't want to admit it.
Oh yeah,
unopened.
We're gonna do an intervention. If you guys
start selling some of the stuff, maybe I should just open up a YouTube channel where I take a box and I'm like, hey, this is what the stuff is.
There you go.
And then let people know that it's on eBay, and then people can buy.
You should at least get them to the point that they're not touching the ceiling, because that is kind of extreme though. If it's 12-foot ceilings and it's almost touching that, it's time for some of them things to go, player. That's a lot.
Yeah.
But
like I said, I'm not opposed to it. I mean, I think I've mentioned it a couple different times where I was like, maybe I should look at getting rid of some of this stuff. So
about having too much, Alex. He was just over in Japan. They can't do that over there. They don't have the room.
Yeah, no.
We don't have big
eat too
like
much. We eat too much in the U.S. We collect too much in the U.S. Like
we do.
Oh yeah, yeah. I get it.
Like, when I got dropped off in Paris and stuff, this made me mad. And first thing, they don't like to use ice in their water. That's one thing. But then I asked for a cup of water. I get this baby-sized cup of water. I talking about grown ass man. Give me a grown ass one cup.
They're minimalists over there in Paris.
They like. I'm serious. The cup was
they
like
gave you a shot glass.
A shot glass of water. Yeah,
like a bathroom cup.
I said, I'm thirsty. Give me some water like this. Like,
because
they look like you fat, stupid American.
Because aren't the actual drink cup sizes different over there than they are here? Because like a medium, a medium over there is like a large or something like over there.
No, but in France, you can. When I would go there and buy beer, it was by the liter. So you would ask for a liter of beer, and I'm good with a liter of beer.
Damn.
I don't like beer, but I'm saying just.
I know you don't like beer.
I like tequila.
Hey,
yeah.
don't like
See,
tequila?
and that's to this point right here. Go back. Like to that point. It's crazy how the prices for U.S. games are versus the rest of the world.
Yeah,
it's absurd.
I get that comment all the time because I think American games are held to a higher standard.
I don't know why.
I don't know why. Or desirable.
It's the exact same game, yeah.
Because that darn Barbie game, somebody can get it the same game for $20, but the American one, $5,000.
Neo Geo is the same way, even though now the Japanese games are going up.
Oh boy, you saw that video when I did
I've seen them.
The prices. I was like, what?
I was like, where would they go up on those games?
Hey, in that game that you has it sold yet for that 300,000 game?
They dropped the price. They dropped the price to $269,000 now.
That's still a house.
Man, I'm glad I didn't jump in on it at 3:30. I would have felt ripped off.
I need to do an interview.
Man, I put that bitch in my cart and I was like, hey, time to check out.
My card got declined, sir. I swear there was money in this morning.
Point blank, he said maybe because there are more American buyers. That's true because in Japan, people aren't buying these retro games to collect. Like I said, they don't have the room. So it doesn't make the costs go up.
The U.S. is the biggest market when you think about it, because when the PS5 first came out, I think it came out over here first, right?
What's that? Say that again.
when the
PS5.
when the PS5 first came out, it came out in the States first before it
Oh, it
came out
did. Yeah,
here.
everything from PlayStation switched over to the States now.
Yeah, like
That was the first time, right?
No, they
I
did the midway through
believe-
PlayStation 4. They started shutting down the Japan studios during the PlayStation 4 era. I guess they wouldn't. I don't know just why, but yeah, it's so different now because most people are doing Western style games, and I guess that's another reason why a lot of people in Japan actually don't like. But
that's why you don't have turn-based Final Fantasy anymore.
yeah, really.
Well,
Who you like here? Say, look, Pokemon box Japanese $40, and then North America $1,800. You're right.
and it's still getting purchased, and that's the crazy thing. Like for instance, if we had some kind of
Collective market.
well, yeah, if we had a kind of like how the Neo Geo has, like a Unibios, where you could play the Japanese games in English, you could play that. So if you had that, I mean, that would significantly decrease every single US game then, because now you could just go and buy a Famicom version of a game. You can go and buy a Japanese console and just mod it, and then it plays your games in English. If only we could do that, that would be amazing. But
I'm telling you, people, a lot of people sell their collection. They get like I told people anybody can go to Japan because I know a lot of collectors at least have about $5,000 just sitting on the back of their shelves. If they sell that and go travel to Japan for like 2 weeks, they'll have a totally different outlook on collecting. They'll be like, wait a minute, like I don't need all this stuff. I can travel the world, go out and try different stuff. I'm telling you, man, I've been thinking about that. Like a lot of this PlayStation 4, all this stuff, just like I don't need it. I really don't. I enjoy having. I enjoy the hunt much more than collecting.
I think that's it too.
Yep, that is.
I love.
I mean, that's how Steve and I we used to do that. We used to hang out and be like, "Hey, what are you doing?" It's like, "Hey, I'm gonna go like game hunting," and we would hit like every end cap at every store. We'd go to the mom and pop shops. We'd go to GameStop, and then we'd even go out of town to other cities and like check out their stuff. And it's fun, right? Like I almost wish. You know how like they have like trail guides and stuff like that, like people who will take you out. Maybe we can start a service where we actually like, you want to go game hunting, come with us and we'll show you the ropes. And it's like, go out there and do the collecting and like now.
Don't say any more ideas online. People are thinking
you're over here doing the city paddle drive and stuff over here.
It's just like Dave Chappelle said, men are hunters and the games are the bait. He's like, oh, nice NES collection. Gotcha, bitch. I guess
Talk about Urban Outfitters, like gaming outfitters, trademark right there. Boom.
Yeah, somebody stole it. There you go. But let's go wrap this up, man. It's been a great discussion. I haven't been back in 2 weeks. Next week, we're probably gonna do a show early or a pre-recorded show because I'm going to be in Chicago for a video game summit. So a video game summit next week. It'd be next Saturday the 8th. I hope that's the 8th. Yeah, where's the 8th? Saturday the 8th. I'll be in Chicago. Basically, it's a video game convention, one-day convention in Chicago. I am taking stuff there. I am doing trades. I'm gonna have a trade table.
He's bringing 3 times the amount back.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly right. Yeah, you're right. I'm gonna be there, be filming. So if you want to come trade some stuff with me, I have more details on the channel. If you listen to this after, you'll probably see the videos coming up. And also, too, guys, we are right now in works on Spotify. We're gonna be moving to Apple Music. Also, we're gonna be on every platform. So the old episodes are on Spotify now, uploading as we speak. I will stay to the channel. You'll know when everything is up. We're going to work hard getting all these podcasts out. It's like 18 podcasts, and this one tonight will be on podcast, so you can listen to it again. If you have any questions, ideas, anything, hit us up. Everybody, tell everybody where they can find you. Retro Neo Nest. The internet is finally working good, so let's get you in before they get you out.
Yes. Retro Neo Nest. Been a blessing to hang out with everybody this evening. You can find me on Instagram. I post normally all my latest pickups, and then you can also find me on YouTube, Retro Neo Nest. Appreciate you.
And man, with the brand new home and the brand new game room, Mega.
Yes, sir. It's a pleasure having everybody. Good to be back at this little hiatus. You can catch me on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Got some content dropping tomorrow, so can't wait for that. And it was a great discussion, and definitely can't wait to come back next week.
and King Fruity Pebble. What's going on?
Hey, you're the Fruity Pebble. You're the one with the shirt. I'll make it
I
easy.
love my shirt too.
That shirt's amazing.
I'll make it easy for everybody. ttbgaming.com. You can find everything, links to YouTube, Twitter, and all that good stuff there. And Steve and I will be at convention, at least 2 of them, I think.
Yeah, we're gonna be doing a
Together in the
podcast
upcoming
live
months.
too. So I don't
there's
know
gonna
if
be
y'all gonna be virtually, but we'll be doing some stuff live.
That's right.
We're definitely gonna try to do the podcast live, and so we might have TV set up with the other members of the podcast. We'll be right there. We're doing the same thing, so it's gonna be a little different. But yeah, we're taking the podcast on the road finally soon. It's gonna be pretty fun. And Mr. Light Bright himself, who has an addiction to
I
collection.
like that. Light Bright. We're gonna call him.
Yeah.
Light.
Call him Light Bright.
No, man. Hold up a second. There used to be a toy back when we were kids called
Light
it
Bright.
was Leon.
Oh, Light
it was
Bright.
called Leon. No, Leon Neon, and I'm Leon Neon. So
Oh,
that's
Leon,
what's up.
Leon, that's a cheap version. Like,
Yeah.
I know exactly what he's talking about. Oh my god.
Yeah. No, but anyway, it's like yeah, you guys can catch me. You guys can catch me on Twitter. I currently I'm on the Crumb side of internet gaming, and that's all on Twitter. I don't have a YouTube channel yet. Still working on some stuff, but it's coming.
Side, baby.
Yeah, hey, but hey, listen, it's coming though, and it's like once we hit,
Oh,
it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Anyway, you guys, I appreciate the night, and I'm glad that you guys let me kind of bring some hot takes and smoke into this. I think it was fantastic conversations, and I really enjoyed myself tonight.
You try to defend yourself. You still a hoarder, but
Hey man, it's like I just keep my unused switches right next to the bags that I poop in, and just they're in their separate little areas.
He's gonna be on a TV show. This is a doctor, but he has
like when they're pulling out like the Depends that the guy's been hoarding with all this. I'm like, God bless America. What is going on?
That's gonna be you. All right, guys, we'll catch it next week. Just look out for it. We'll probably be the same time, but probably not. Probably gonna be a little early. But anyway, we'll catch you, and thank y'all for watching it. Always remember to do it the right way. We'll see you next time.